If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place where you could drive a new Acura ZDX for only $239 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
We're celebrating a new year with new savings at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume Toyota dealer. Save big on a 24 Corolla, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. We're bringing you deals that strike fast and hard at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We are live. It is 7P, the place to be. And every time I hit the intro, it freezes up on me. I don't understand. It like skips or takes I was supposed to be a 42-second intro. I feel like it went an hour and a half on my end.
I felt
am
that
Sean Stanley. That is the great Frankie Fresco, and we are live. The Squared Circle Digest. How are we doing, sir?
good, man. I thought for a minute there we weren't gonna go on. It was just a black screen for like 10 seconds. I was like, oh, maybe we're doing a grand entrance. Maybe we were gonna come through the crowd. That's what it was. We were gonna come through the crowd like Jey Uso. Since he didn't do it on Monday, we were gonna do it for him tonight. but
that was the plan. But so wait a minute. So the intro ended.
and then it stayed for like 10 seconds. Just the
Well, see,
dark
because
black
on
screen.
my end it was freezing and still playing. I went live after the intro ended on my end. That's where I went live because I was like, "Can you hear me?" And then you're like, "Yes," and I was like, "Oh, that's doing the same thing again."
Because okay, so what I do, sir, is I obviously we're live. I have my laptop, but then I also have it on my phone to see how it looks when we're talking, and that's how I know that they have a black screen. And see, so
Uh,
Cheyenne agrees with me. See, and then the black
yeah,
screen, exactly.
yeah. All right, I apologize. I will talk to the production team. I'll fire everybody, rehire them because I can't fire myself and fire and rehire, and we'll see how it goes. But a lot has happened. We had the Vengeance Day pay-per-view. We had the Grand Slam Australia. We've had a Raw. We've had a Dynamite. We've had a SmackDown. And we've had a lot of issues. One of the issues you put on the wheel I took off because I wanted to cover it in the pro wrestling fans part. Tonight, we're just going to talk a little bit about how we're perceiving the state of pro wrestling fans. Then the Saturday Slam is, of course, talking about the two shows, the state of how we perceive the WWE right now, and then, of course, the state of how we perceive the AEW. And yes, it is a Stranahan Dragon education, public school's finest, Broward County 954. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Jackasses. All right. So, anyways, just like pro wrestling fans, that's exactly what we have here. I appreciate everybody that's watching us live on YouTube, either on the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel or on the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. Of course, if you're on the Facebook Stanley Media House Network, jump on over to the YouTube, hit the subscribe to both channels, and set the notifications. We appreciate it. Of course, hit the like, hit the share. You're watching us on X, please share it out there. And then also, when you get the opportunity, jump over to the YouTube channel. Same with the Twitch. And then we'll see here. What we got, Boo? Look how that is working out for you. Hey, listen. I think it's working out damn well for me. I have Frankie Fresco as my co-host. I get to talk wrestling.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
That is a great thing, my man, because you make me look awesome. I appreciate it.
Look, Cheyenne, to my defense,
What's up, buddy?
To his defense as well, I was having camera issues. So he's like text message me, "Are you up or are you asleep?" Because obviously you guys know that I'm usually falling. Look, man, I don't know about you guys, but
Frankie is the oldest, youngest guy I know.
I take naps, bro. I take naps. I need naps.
No, he's got to though. You gotta.
I have crazy schedules. So like sometimes you'll see me stay up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then sometimes you'll see me go to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I fall asleep at 10. It varies, man. It's crazy. But and shout out to Official Memo. And Frankie does not suck. Frankie is actually legit. I make it happen, sir. I multitask. I've been so busy, blessed. I'm very blessed. Thank you. That I get work left and right, and obviously,
Sure.
as you can tell, I have the Miami Sharks shirt,
Yeah, buddy, rugby, baby.
representing them. We didn't get the win this past Sunday, but shout out to them. It was a great game. We had a good turnout. We had about 4,000 people out there, so it was really, really good.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
And then and
Now,
now
do they bring in bleachers for that area? Because on that area, is there bleachers over there?
there's already bleachers. Yeah,
There's already bleachers. Okay, cool.
yeah. So then we actually, on top of that, we had beaten I think they're called Old Dominion. I think they're called like Old Dominion, kind of like the school. Old Glory. Sorry, they were called Old Glory. So and they're Washington. So Old Glory, Washington. We had beat them last year, the last game of the season, and this year, unfortunately, they beat us. So now we have another home game this Sunday. I will not be DJing it. It's my boy DJ Mortal. So shout out to my boy DJ Mortal. If you guys want to show love to the Miami Sharks, more than happy, go out there and support them. Like I told you, tickets are very cheap, man. I think they're like $20, $30. They're really cheap. You get a really good experience. You get good music. And then after the game, not only do you learn about rugby, but you also enjoy and get to listen to either myself or DJ Mortal DJ afterwards, and you get
And
free
also, I
beer.
heard you're like a master of karaoke now. At least that's what they're talking about on the chat. I'm just
heard Frankie's the man when it comes to hosting karaoke. Yeah, so just to kind of thanks Memo for blasting it out there. Yeah, they try to do so what we're trying to do each home game we're trying to switch it up. So basically this first game of the season they wanted to do something for the fans, so they did a karaoke night. And yeah, your boy Frankie Fresco has never in his life ever done karaoke. I have another couple of my friends that do karaoke, so they're the ones who are experts. But I can't hire them to come and help me. So I just winged it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Sean. I make it happen, bro. It's like
of course
you
you do.
you
man.
gotta
You're Frankie Fresco.
you gotta call me the CM Punk of DJ. I make it happen no matter.
Oh,
what.
come on! Now you might blow out your tricep or something. Man.
I might blow it out, but I'll bounce back. But I'll bounce back. So dude, we had such a big hit. We had over 30 to 40 people freaking doing karaoke. Insane how many people wanted karaoke, and then people were coming to me. They're like, "Oh, you did a phenomenal job." I was like, "Okay, I've never done this, but I mean, I just make it happen, man. Just
there it is.
make it happen.
There it
So-
is.
But they're no more karaoke. So if the Miami Sharks are tuning in, please no more karaoke, at least for this season. I guess they want to do it like once a year, once each season. So that was the one time for the season.
Yeah.
So let's hope that they don't ask for more karaoke, because
All right.
I'm not a fan. But before we talk wrestling, sir, if you would have been at the Sharks game, what song would you have requested to karaoke? Since Memo wants to put me on blast, I'm gonna put you on blast, sir.
Let's see. What karaoke song would I do?
I got an idea. On this day, I see clearly. No, Adam Copeland.
No, you wouldn't. It wouldn't sound that clearly if I was singing it.
How about damn it, a cult of personality. A cult.
No,
of
it would have to be
personality.
like an old a country song or somewhere where they kind of talk more than sing, because I can't sing worth crap, buddy. This voice here is not singing.
I'll tell you this. No offense to the people who were singing, but I would probably say 80% of the people who were singing at the karaoke were half past drunk, so
Yeah.
they sounded not the best, but at least they were having fun. On the chat board, if you guys had the opportunity to sing on the karaoke, what song would you sing? And not a regular song; it has to be a wrestling song. So, what wrestling song would you pick?
Oh, it has to be a wrestling song. I'll do the Undertaker. I'll do the Undertaker.
It has to have lyrics as well.
No doubt. Hey, check your X. I don't even know if you still have X, man. Check your X. No doubt if you get a chance. Also in the chat, just I want to thank everybody that's on already. Memo, see him dump is back, baby. Official memo, of course. Wilford Joseph, AEW. We're going to be talking AEW here right off the bat a little bit, as we're going to talk all the part of wrestling fans. Of course, Cheyenne in. Let's see.
Wait, hold on.
Steven Gonzalez in.
You gotta say more
got-
excited.
Jeff from Long Island in, and my papa is in.
But you gotta make
And that was not a swanton bomb, because I can tell you something now. At no time in my wrestling days did I go to the top rope to deliver any type of maneuver. I was a ground combatant.
Sure, you make it seem, when I saw you mentioning the people on the chat board, you were saying no doubt with
Oh, I
excitement.
see Sammy's in now. Sammy's in.
Look at that, you're even saying Sammy and everything. But then when you had to mention Cheyenne, you just went and said and Cheyenne. So what is going on
I
with
said
the
also
hostility?
say- what is
You need to
going-
give Cheyenne a hell of a round of applause. Be like, yeah, my girl Cheyenne, baby, let's go.
What the? So I got to be like, well, man, no doubt.
You were doing that with the rest.
Him, dump.
I just feel that we could.
My papa.
we don't
What are
have-
we doing here? What are we doing?
We don't.
Every
we-
person I got to break it down.
We don't have to
I
highlight.
mean, my God, it's
CM
not my
Punk.
fault you got stuck doing karaoke, all right? Don't
No,
take
but-
it out on me.
No. I see some hostility already because Cheyenne was calling you out, sir, and I see that you were getting upset already when she said, "Look how that is working out for you," and you were making these.
They're insulting my education. I mean, hell yeah, I'm upset.
She did not insult your education. She is insulting your production.
No. It was, hold on. It's that Stranahan education. And then I talked about it, and they said, look how that is working out for you. Although, on behalf of my education, I probably wouldn't have to make that comment twice because I wouldn't have messed up the first time. And you can blame it on autocorrect all you want.
Oh, man.
We know what it is. I've seen Frankie Fresco on the chat. I've seen everything go through it. I got it. I understand. Not everybody can be Sean Stanley, okay? One day. One day.
Sure. Look, Cheyenne agrees with me. He sure didn't. Exactly. You're not showing Cheyenne some love. And she has been loyal here, sir. She has been loyal consistently. So you show some respect to my girl.
I appreciate her. My goodness. Wow.
I'm gonna have to be Cheyenne. Cheyenne, I got your back. Me and you, we got this. Don't worry about it. Don't make me have to go ahead and submit the photos the incriminating photos that I have of you that Cheyenne sent me. Those incriminating wrestling photos she sent me. I have them. Still have them available.
They're not incriminating.
Don't make me have to post them on that.
They're not incriminating. Go ahead, post them. Post them.
All right, we've been talking too much crap already. It's been too much crap. We got.
Yeah, Memo knows you. You're the big O lover. That's who you are. The big O lover.
Shout out to Big O. Hopefully he feels better.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Because he is under the weather. He's not himself. So now let's talk wrestling fans. And look at CM Dump. Is this like, look at now he's doing emojis with the dump.
Maybe he should.
Oh
yeah.
Man, we've got a CM Dump off in the chat. What is going on here?
I like him. Oh, there he is. I like it. What is?
Oh my goodness! All right, let's talk. Since we got this going on in the chat, we can talk wrestling fans now. So this past weekend, we had AEW Grand Slam, Australia Grand Slam, whatever the hell it was. All right, so now anybody that knows anything about wrestling logistically or has been around understands that companies do not send their wrestling rings overseas. It's not how it works. WWE, it's taken years for them to strategically place rings because they've done tours over and over and over and over. So now they have found rings, places to put them. And I don't know if what they end up doing is giving their ring to another promotion that uses that ring. And then when they get over there, then of course they have that ring there. Or if they just store it. I don't know what happens there. But it's taken a long time for all of that to happen, okay? Now, AEW, again, they're going back and forth. They end up with, I believe it's an 18-foot ring. And everybody lost their mind.
I would too.
Tony Khan's too cheap. And they didn't logistically plan. The ring got lost. There was just like, but here's the thing. There's 16 by 16. There's 18 by 18. There's 20 by 20. And 20 by 20 is usually the WWE rings. The smaller rings are usually your independent rings. I've wrestled on low boys. And I don't know if you know what a low boy ring is. The low boy ring is about that far off the ground. It's for the low ceiling buildings. And I've wrestled on those, and that's like laying on. And the only thing I can say is, fortunately for me, I've never been in an unsafe ring except once in Peru.
Oh, what happened there?
Boxing ring.
Okay.
It was a boxing ring, and they used pallets instead of plywood. And on the first move, it was me versus Anthony Michaels. I'll never forget this. I did the D-Lo bomb, which is when you pick them up and then you sit out and you drop them down. You saw it on the intro there. When I did that, we went through the pallets. Literally through the pallets and in the thing, in the whole apron, the ring went up a little bit. We didn't go all the way through, but we went enough to where he wasn't going to be able to kick out because we were both stuck there, kind of thing. So we ended up having to work our way out of there. And then we were the first match of the night.
Did the crowd go crazy when that happened?
Oh, yeah, of course the crowd goes crazy. They think it's like this magical trick. Little do they know that, it almost ripped out the back muscles of Anthony on there, because as you went through cracking the wood, you know how pallets are. it was ripping. I mean, you had a little bit of the foam there that ripped through because the wood poked out, and it looked like we've been through a war. Honestly,
So then what did they do to make it up for the next fights? What, they put more pallets underneath? Is that what they did?
no. Luckily, that was the last night of the tour.
Oh,
But they couldn't get the ring to the part of the mountains that we had to wrestle in.
yeah.
So they had to find a ring. They said they have a ring, so they just went in. And again, they're not in our area, so they went and said, okay, it's a ring. Okay, it's a ring. Work it. And then
This was in Peru?
In Peru, yeah.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Did they? Now that you mentioned this, did you have to cover your travel expenses, or did they cover that for you?
They covered that for us. It was a 7-day stay.
Oh,
We ended up wrestling 3 times. There was also another crew over there that was wrestling, so it ended up becoming a battle of a whole bunch of stuff. But I had a good time. I went a little over, and then all hell broke loose while we were on the tour. And basically, I flew out to Panama City because I found out I wasn't going to get the final pay, and they were looking to possibly take passports. So I had my stuff on me, and a couple of us went to Panama City.
oh, so you got the hell out of there before you were
Got out
stuck.
to Panama, yeah.
Now I have a quick question for you. You don't have to answer this. Were there any ring rats in that Peru location?
No,
Damn it!
no,
Can you explain to the fans what ring
Nope.
rats are?
nope. Listen to Maven. If you want to go that way, go to Maven. I don't know, whatever, man.
I didn't
I
know
don't
about
know.
that. I didn't know about that, Sean. I'm
That's
fan.
an old term, man. Like that's just somebody trying to sound like they've been around and they haven't. That to me is what that sounds like.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn, is that a shot at Maven? No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
yeah. It's a shot at Maven.
Damn.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna tag him in the post. Sean, maybe we're taking a shot at you. That's an old term, sir. I'm not a wrestler, but it doesn't
Well,
matter. Sean
it's like,
works.
again, he was up there for a cup of tea. He got his thing. Undertaker put him over, and now you're living it out. Get your money off your name, man. Get your money off your name because you didn't get it through wrestling. So.
Hold on, Sean. They're asking us. Memo is asking us, what is a ring rat? Can I say what a ring rat is, or no? Or do I hold off? Or do we
ahead.
just do we tell him to just go listen to the Maven channel? Because I'd rather him listening to us. Don't watch the Maven channel. Look at us, bro. That's why we're here live.
I'm sure Memo has had abundance of in his industry. I don't know what you guys call those females.
Okay, so DJ, we can't call him. Okay, so if you guys know truck drivers, right?
It's already on the chat. Look
Is
right
it?
above Memo.
Yes, correct. Exactly. Cheyenne knows about it. So if you're a truck driver, when you're driving a truck and you have to make a stop and stay overnight or get away, there's something called lot lizards. So if you Google lot lizards, that's the exact same kind of terminology for a ring rat, which I didn't know. Like, it was interesting. I told Sean, I was like, man, have you heard of this term? And he was like, yeah. And I
It's
was
a
like,
derogatory term, man. Honestly, it's a derogatory term.
in the wrestling business, is a derogatory term?
I mean,
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm
it's like,
completely
okay,
dumb.
so you have fans, and if and again, most of the shows we did in Independence is you do the show and you go home. It's not like we go to hotels and everything else. So now you have them at the hotel bar or whatever, and now however you want to do it, and then they become somebody else's the next time around. You pass them around. That's what happens. There you go.
I need to be a wrestler. I need to get me some
I
ring
don't-
rats.
Nah,
I got this. All right, let's change it up. I feel like I'm making Sean uncomfortable. Okay, I got you. Don't worry. Let's go.
No, I don't like the term, man. I got 2 daughters, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like that to
okay.
me is
Makes sense. Yeah.
it's like, okay, so and the other thing is like every female fan is not that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
100%.
where
Yep.
it's like okay, you're telling these stories like everybody that 83,000 people in attendance and all of them are there for that, and that's not true, man. That's not. It's just to me. It's it's just.
Well, I don't think if you saw, I don't know if you saw the episode, but if you saw his episode, he wasn't insinuating that all the women are there and they're doing that, obviously, but he was mentioning that it does happen, just like in the music industry and sports
Mhm.
in all sports. There's athletes out there that are always gonna get, unfortunately, women who provide some type of service or want something more than just friendship, and then obviously it could go that far and you could get in trouble, right? Obviously that's not, but obviously, again, we're not trying to say that every woman does it. Obviously, like Sean said, he has two um beautiful daughters. I myself have my sister and my mother, so obviously that's not what we're trying to say. But I just, when he said the term, I didn't know about it. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this is interesting. But
Well, it's in every industry. It's just something different. If you're a
yeah, yeah,
trucker,
yeah.
it's a lot. I mean, it's there.
I could tell you
There's
this though.
always a little, terminology and things like that. That
Memo, do we have a term for, like, oh, you know what? I guess in a way you could say in the DJ industry, and correct me if I'm wrong, Memo, because Memo also DJs with me. Like, Memo's a DJ as well. I guess you could say kind of like groupies. I guess that would be the term that we would use for like those type of people as well. So it's like it's in
that's
every
all it
industry.
is. That's all it is. But again, what happened? Like, and again, these are just stories I've heard. And again, I don't know how much of it's true and this and that. There was a different person in each town for some of the guys, and that's how they lived their lives. That's why they spent all their money. They'd make $5,000 at a show, and they'd go spend 4,500 in the next town.
But you know what's crazy too, Sean? You could kind of say that there, like, at least in the DJ industry, there are some guys that are, and I guess in the, like, in the music industry and maybe in the movies, like, you have your posse, right? So you bring all your
Yeah.
people, and then those
Oh, the
guys.
Fresco Freaks.
Oh my god! Of course, see him dump had to say that. Actually, that's not a bad.
That's
That's
where's my Fresco Freaks at?
Oh yeah, seeing dump, bro. That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie. Even though you hate your
Holla if you
name,
hear me. Pull off the Scott Steiner. Holla if you hear me.
I mean, the Fresco freaks are out there. I
Where
like
my
it.
Fresco Freaks at?
Wow. That's wild, bro. That's wild.
Oh
But
my
yeah, so,
goodness.
like, I mean, but there's also the guys, when you have your entourage, and the entourage take advantage as well. Obviously, I don't know up to how far, but obviously they seek interest. You understand me? And that's why it happens both ways, I guess, in a way. Don't want to discriminate, but whatever. My bad. We already gave too much time to this topic, but at least we had
No, it's just a thing that, like, again,
Fresco freaks
now
in my pipe bomb. This
what happened?
straight edge
Fresco
shit and dump is
Freaks in
now.
my pipe. Nice. And he's screaming that. He's screaming it.
Yeah, he is. Cheyenne is laughing too. You guys are funny. You guys, hey man, we got a very interactive chat.
I mean, I went to talk about wrestling fans. I wasn't talking about this way, but I mean, hey, I guess it's
We had a fight. Now we're talking about
yeah.
Fresco
No,
freak.
it's the I want to talk more about the tribalism that is. If you like AEW, you don't like WWE. If you like WWE, you don't like AEW. And I find it odd to me because it's pretty funny. And again, and this might have nothing to do with it, or it might have something to do with it. I opened up a Blue Sky account because a lot of the AEW went over to Blue Sky. Blue Sky was there's a big AEW community on Blue Sky. And I get more involvement on X for WWE. And it's very interesting to me because, again, if I go back and forth and I look at it, when Raw's on, they're talking about, they just they job out all these guys and they spend too much time on these guys. And then you go to AEW when AEW's on and the WWE guys are, saying, here we go with this guy again. And, it's just wrestling. There's no story. There's this, there's that. And look, I tell everybody the same thing, man. To me, you have to buy in on the investment of the show you're watching. It's episodic TV. If you don't buy in and get invested on some character on the TV show, and again, this goes for any show you're watching, NCIS, LA Law, whatever the hell it is you're watching every week that you tune back into, You're invested into a character or characters of that show, and that's why you tune in every week. And to me, it's funny to see how the tribalism now is where, like, there's a lot of people that on the Blue Sky end of it never even watch WWE. Or they say they don't. I mean, again, I'm going up there, but it's just, to me, amazing how, like, I'm a wrestling fan. I watch it all. Again, I'm not saying AEW is right what they're doing. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying WWE's right and wrong. I have a way I like my stuff to be. And that's why when we talk about it, I tell you all the time about the emotional investment, because to me, that's how you get long-term fans. And we'll grab into it more when we get into the state of WWE and AEW on the bottom. But for me, I don't understand how fans are so. You're not really pro wrestling fans. You're an AEW fan. You're a New Japan wrestling fan. You're a WWE fan. You're not a wrestling fan. You're that tribe. Whatever that tribe is, that's what a lot of these fans are. They're not wrestling fans. They're an AEW fan. And then they go, oh, AEW's were the best wrestle. So you're telling me what WWE's doing in the ring isn't wrestling?
And not only that, but a lot of the wrestlers from AEW have now made their way over to the WWE world. So are you saying that those wrestlers are no longer one of the best wrestlers that wrestled, like Penta? I think Penta is a great
wrestler. No, he's no longer now. No, got rid of him. Done. They drop him. They drop him.
I will say this. So when it comes to the state of the fans, right? There's always a division. I don't know why. Why is there so much hate? Like, we either pick WWE or AEW. And you guys on the chat board also chime in. If you guys
this whole show, I want the chat to jump in whenever you feel like you got a statement, you want to say something, please jump in. This is a whole community effort here on this whole show today when we're talking about the state of how we see pro wrestling right now. So don't be afraid. If you're on X, jump in on the chat, Facebook, wherever you're at, jump in on the chat. Let's discuss this and let's see if we can figure some of this stuff out.
Here's my issue. I kind of compare wrestling to kind of like, it probably is not the best one, but politics, right? You have the Democratic Party and you have the Republican Party. Some people like the Democrats, some people like the Republican. There's some people who like both, and there's some people who don't like either one of them. You understand me? For some strange reason in the wrestling community, they have actually just kind of want to pick a side. You have to pick a side, and I don't like that. If you're a wrestling fan, you're going to watch both. Now, and obviously the other types of wrestling is out there, like New Japan and
there's
Libre and all that stuff. So
at GCW, you got a lot of the indies. You got CCW here. You've got TNA. You got a lot of variety of shows.
Correct. So my issue with this split of like fans picking and choosing what they want is, you gotta, if you're gonna criticize one or the other. So like, let's see, like Blue Sky people. I think one of the reasons why you see AEW fans more into Blue Sky is because WWE doesn't have a Blue Sky account. And I think I read online that I think the reason WWE does not want to have a Blue Sky is because they wanted I think it was for some reason with the company that bought out WWE has something with also with Elon Musk.
TKO.
Yeah, TKO has something to do with Elon Musk, so they wanted to kind of stay in the Twitter world instead of going to the Blue Sky. And I think that's why AEW jumped and said, hey, this is a good way for us to gain more fans, or at least kind of keep our fans more united. So that's why you see more AEW fans in Blue Sky than WWE fans, because there's no WWE in Blue Sky. But either way, either or, if you're a fan of wrestling, you're going to respect both types of shows, and you're going to criticize them, and there's nothing wrong. You're going to find the good things about them and the bad things about them.
Yeah, because we always talk about this. If 5 of us sit here and watch wrestling, we're going to have 5 different points of views, 5 different people we like, probably. That's what makes pro wrestling so good, is it's not, cut and dry, black and white, however you want to look at it. It's very opinionated, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I'm seeing some of you guys, right? Like Cheyenne saying, I've been a Chris Jericho fan since the '90s, but I didn't follow him to AEW. That's another thing. There's a lot of us that are not so married to wrestling, but you're actually more married to an actual wrestler. Hey, like The Rock. If you have The Rock and he goes all the way now to, let's say, not even AEW, let's say he goes to New Japan, there's a very good chunk of us that are going to go ahead and try to see what's going on now in New Japan to see The Rock, because I love The Rock. That's one of my favorite wrestlers, or vice versa. Just like Ricky Stark, what's going on today on NXT. I'm a big fan of Ricky Stark when he was in AEW. I want to see what he does now in NXT. So I'm gonna tune in. So I think
Yeah.
that's why you also create kind of like a division, because now all of a sudden some of your favorite wrestlers are in one organization and then the other and then that and that. So it's like you kind of jump around. And then eventually also it all depends on that wrestler. How does that character change in that new wrestling company? You understand me? Chris Jericho back in the day in WWE was the Y2J and all that stuff, which was break the world now. That was the cool Jericho. AEW, he had his moments when he was what El Nueve, and when he does the Judas effect and all that stuff,
Inner Circle,
the
all
inner
that
circle and
stuff.
all that stuff. So it's different. The way you change the character. And same thing with Edge. Edge in WWE now. Adam Copeland to Cope now. So it's like Moxley and Dean Ambrose, same thing. So it's like I think that's where you get the division sometimes, because a lot of people are like, man, I used to like this wrestler, but then he went to AEW, or he went to WWE and now he sucks. So then you kind of start getting like, instead of getting mad at the wrestler or saying, damn, that wrestler sucks, I think maybe some fans are like, yo, I don't, it's probably WWE or it's probably AEW. So I'm going to stop watching it. I'm going to just tune into the other one because they ruined my favorite wrestler. It's no longer the guy that I actually cheered for, you know?
Yeah, I want to go back into the chat. Josh is in. He said, "What up, Sean and Frankie? Is it bad that I only watch pay-per-views? I try watching AEW, but I didn't get convinced." No, it's not. I mean, again, everybody watches wrestling differently, man. And to be honest with you, when AEW and WWE both, when VKM was finishing up in WWE, and it was 3 weeks of the same matches leading up to a pay-per-view, after a while, I tuned out. I did tune out, and I watched only the pay-per-views because I'm not going to miss anything on Raw or anything else. And that's how I kind of got toward Dynamite up until here recently, where I feel like they've kind of changed, but you weren't missing anything because when you watch in the pay-per-view, AEW always delivers on pay-per-view because the performers are inside the ring. You know, again, that's what I always said, whether it's WWE or AEW, inside the ring, the action's always going to be good, whichever action you like. If you like the AEW style, if you like the WWE storytelling style, they always deliver inside the ring. The difference has always been how they get to that pay-per-view, the stories, if they're doing any storytelling. Is it just going to be a dream match? There's different ways of doing it. And I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong, but I do prefer myself the storytelling method. And I get it. You can't do it for every match or things like that. But also, I do like the fact that WWE is doing it and AEW is doing it more now, where they're going back further and deeper into things that happened, a couple years ago. And then they release it now to where it's like, oh, I remember that. Oh, that's set up for this now going on. And again, there's just different ways of doing it. And again, I feel like it's now to the point to where everybody's sitting there and saying, oh, that's not right. Oh, that's wrong. That shouldn't happen. And it's like, it's pro wrestling, people. It is pro wrestling.
Well, for me,
there's going to be different ways and different things. It's not right and wrong to me. It's more, okay, I wouldn't have done that. That's not my style. But it's not right and wrong, whereas everybody's like all up in the air, like, oh my God, this is the end. All this is terrible. Like, why? Because it wasn't what you wanted?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's the part that, and again, we talked about it when we do the whole thing with, I always go back to the one reference when everybody was like, oh, Roman's showing up to take on Brock Lesnar in Madison Square Garden, and then they put Austin Theory there. And everybody's like, well, why wasn't Roman there? WWE never said Roman was going to be there. They said a mystery opponent there's going to be an opponent for Brock Lesnar. Everybody else read into it and said it was going to be Roman or whatever, whoever else you wanted to be there. And then when it's not that person, you're like, oh, it's terrible. It's going to lose. It's going to do this. Now the one thing now is, oh, AEW's going to fold. Oh, AEW's. No, they're not, man. They're going to make more money this year than they've ever made because of the TV deal.
Yeah.
They haven't broke even yet. This year they will. They've been losing money. This year they're going to probably make money.
Well, yeah, Memo, thanks for the correction. Sorry about that. I like both. I like, obviously, the storytelling, but I also do like the dream matches, man. I'm not going to lie. I like.
Though, my problem with the dream matches is it can only happen once. It only happen once.
But if you, this is the thing, both, if that's the case, right? If you follow wrestling and you follow some wrestlers from earlier in their times, dream matches happen more than once. You understand me? If you're in the indie show,
no, wrestling each other happens more than once.
That's why.
When you're at the top of the game and it's Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega at the top of their games, that happens once. That happens once. Now they can have more matches against each other, but that dream match is the one time. Because after that, it's just running it back.
You're okay. All right, but okay. So dream match. So let me clarify it. I guess the not so much a dream match. I would say more of like a matchup where I really enjoy both wrestlers going at it. You understand me? Like if you run MJF versus Will Ospreay, I already saw it. But if let's say they haven't wrestled in about a year, and they find a way to kind of bring them back for them to wrestle again. Maybe MJF now has the belt or vice versa, or now they have the actual world heavyweight belt. Because I think last time, I don't think they had any belts, or if anything, I think Will Ospreay had the other belt, the international belt or something. Or he had one. I forgot which one he had. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it makes a difference. So I like a little bit of both. Because look at WWE, like Sammy and KO. We've seen it. I've seen it in NXT, and now we're gonna see it again in Elimination Chamber. So what did they do? They do like a little change up. Hey, now it's gonna be an unsanctioned match. Little things like that. We're seeing Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. I saw Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher at the AEW pay-per-view down in Orlando right before the end of the year, and now they're gonna do it again at the next pay-per-view. So it's like. You kind of have to pick and choose, and like you've always said, it's wrestling, man. It's not going to be perfect. It's not what a lot of you guys are writing on the job board. It's a soap opera. It's basically you're going to see little moments.
And it's live performing. A lot of this is not recorded. It's live performance art, and there's going to be mess ups.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen, man. You're wrestling on ropes. You've got oil, lotion, you've got sweat, you've got all this stuff. It's just ingredients, and then you start adding in ladders and tables and chairs and everything else. You're just
now
adding to that performance.
I do want to kind of, call out what you just said about, hey, they go ahead and they have like, this person's supposed to wrestle this person, and all of a sudden the mysterious person is not the person you thought he was supposed to wrestle or whatnot. I think the reason the fans get upset at that is because the viewing audience, the wrestling world, is there to always wow you. It's all, no matter who it is, they're always there
to wow you. No, it's not.
Okay, they're always there to entertain you.
Yes.
And then when you're entertaining, the only way you're gonna get a pop, especially in, let's say, the peak moment of the soap opera, is by a wow moment. Okay, and this, if you don't get that pop in that wow moment of that soap opera, then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, "Damn, it didn't live up to the expectation." So then that's where you could kind of see why the fans
expectation on it.
The soap opera, which would be in this
How
case,
did the soap opera put on there when they just said
because you're building up that
will be an action.
Because you're building up you're building it up to that particular moment of whatever that event is. So I'm building it up. Hey,
Uh,
into WrestleMania. Look how much they promote WrestleMania
yes,
all the
but
way
they
to
also don't put Brock Lesnar versus somebody on WrestleMania. They tell you who Brock Lesnar is going to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like those again, they don't leave WrestleMania up to expectations. They tell you what's going, what to expect in a way. You know what I'm saying? It was a Christmas show, house show, by the way, but it was the one after Christmas, which is done in Madison Square Garden. So everybody's like, oh, it's going to be a big thing. But they never said it was going to be a big thing.
But
They
Sean,
just said Brock Lesnar in action. And again, this is where wrestling fans always assume that it's going to be the oh shit moment. And then when it's not the oh shit moment, it's, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, that's WWE. Oh, that's AEW. And it's like, no, that's the expectation you have.
I think you're going too hard on the wrestling fan because again, if you're it's being built on you. You're being built, and okay, maybe it's not even WrestleMania. Let's say it's a small in-house show that's not even going to be televised. Again, WWE has always trained our eye for like the oohs and ahs and all that stuff. Because if it was the same thing over and over and over, you would lose interest in that product. So
which we did at the VKM.
Correct, and
over and over the same shit.
That's why AEW struggles a lot, because AEW kind of gives us the same thing over and over. They can't wow us, so that's why the WWE world has trained the WWE fans and just wrestling fans in general that we need to be wowed in any occasion. So when they're not, can you blame the fans? Because that's what the WWE has kind of taught us to be like for all these years.
But here's my thing. If WWE says Brock Lesnar is going to take on a main event opponent at MSG, and then they throw Austin Theory out there, yes, you can be disappointed. But when they say Brock Lesnar's taking on an opponent to be named at MSG, and everybody just jumps like, oh my, you think WWE is going to give you Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at a house show? With everything you know about WWE, do you think you're going to get that at a house show?
Wait, hold on a second, because if I'm not mistaken, a couple of house shows back then, they were having those, what was it? I think it was Cody versus Roman, weren't they? They were having like big events at some of these house shows. I know they had, I think here in Miami, they had one of the house shows. I think the main event was Cody versus KO. And then look, we just saw that in the last
Cody versus KO is not Cody versus Roman. And the match with Roman was always the bloodline against Cody, and however they were building that up there, because again, Cody needed to get in with Roman so they could get their timing on their matches. And that's what they did with house shows, is you always had that, but you never got the one-on-one.
Here's the thing, man, because I get where you're coming from, but I feel like, again, I think you're taking it too extreme, because look, I'm a big wrestling fan. We went to that Sunday Stunner, and I wasn't expecting a wow moment. I wasn't expecting it to be an amazing show, but I thought it was going to be a really good show. And in your eyes, you said it was okay. It was not bad. In my eyes, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was crap. I thought I wasted my money, and I said, bro, I should have never came to this. I would have just hauled off and probably waited until they actually brought a televised show. So at the end of the day, and there wasn't no wow moments. If we would have seen Drew McIntyre, because I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that last match was, I know Drew McIntyre was in the main event. I don't remember who he was fighting. Do you remember who he was fighting in that house show? It was Drew McIntyre and somebody. But let's say it would have been Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes or something. I don't know if Cody was at that time already. But anyway, anybody else, or even Rey Mysterio or something. Because I remember, I think that was more like a SmackDown show more than the Raw house show. But something that would have at least caught my attention and be like, wow, damn, this particular match, the main event, made it for me. It's kind of like in any sport. Look at the NBA All-Star game. Are people wowed about the All-Star game? No, because we've seen it over and over and over again. We are accustomed to this life to ask for more. And is it wrong for ask to more? No. Now,
But
should
it's
we
wrong
criticize?
to be there and expect it though. Like just because it's not delivered, don't mean that okay, let's shit on the product though.
I don't
Whether
think
it's
they shit on the
AEW
product.
or WWE. I mean, that's
I don't
but
think
that's what
people shit on the
happens,
product.
man. That's
I
what
don't.
happens.
I don't think they shit on the product. I think what happens with a lot of wrestling fans is that they do kind of like constructive criticism. Now, if you have,
Oh.
if you have, like for example, if you have a fan who actually says, "Oh no, I wanted Roman versus Brock Lesnar, and that didn't happen, so the rest of the show sucked," then I get you 110%. But if there's also wrestling fans that said, "Bro, it just didn't live up to expectation that particular match," and that's why that show, which could have been a 9 or a 10 in my eyes, now drops into like a 5 or 6 because it let me down. I was expecting more than what they gave me.
Yeah, see, I look at it a little bit differently, and this is again. It goes back to where, us as let's use, and Josh says, I think wrestling changed a lot. It's not the same as it used to be. I think it's evolved. And then just like everything, it's evolved into what it is today. You had your cartoon phase with WWE, then ECW brought it into the Attitude Era. Then you had the, ruthless aggression, and then you go on. I mean, it evolves into the product there. The problem is, I think some fans just don't evolve with it, and that's the thing. It's like where, and no doubt says WWE wows also tend to be surprise moments and not necessarily the ring action. For example, Big E and the New Day turn at the 10-year anniversary. There's moments there, and he says wrestling fans are obnoxious and opinionated, but that is part of the fun. And again, it is part of the fun. And here goes another thing, Frankie Fresco, okay? And I talked about this last night. They show the WWE 2K25 ratings now?
Yes.
All right? AJ Styles is an 85.
Should have been a 75. Okay. Keep going.
Dominic Mysterio, an 84.
94 in my eyes, but okay.
Of course it is. That's why you wear glasses. And then, on top of that, Raquel Rodriguez is an 86.
She should have been an 88. And yes, I wear glasses for a reason. And you're blind. That's why you don't wear any.
Blind ass fan. That's what you are.
All right, but again, this creates controversy. This creates controversy, and it creates good content to talk about. Like the whole rating system on the video game. When did it happens in everything? Look at Tyreek Hill when he was complaining that he wasn't a 99 or something like that, rate speed or something, or overall. It happens in everything. So are you gonna go ahead and criticize them because they gave AJ Styles an 80, 85, 86, whatever number he had?
But see, this is the thing though. I put this out there on X, and you know what I get back?
What?
If AJ Styles could stay healthy, he might be a 95.
I mean, that's a valid point.
Bro,
That's a valid point, though.
Possibly, but you're going to tell me that you're going to take the body of work that is AJ Styles and the body of work that is Dom and say Dom is 1 point off from AJ Styles and Raquel is better than both?
You got to also take into account that they're basing it on the last year because the game comes out every year. So it's based on the body of work of just that year. Now, if it was just, hey, an all-time classic.
No. The rating should change based on that year.
Exactly.
It should be a new rating.
It's a new. It's.
What was AJ Styles in WWE 2K24?
Oh, I don't know. I would have to go look.
Exactly.
Look, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I look, to be honest with you.
The game has anything to do with the actual show, but
yeah,
to me, it's damn disrespectful to put AJ Styles and Dom that close together.
Are you serious?
Dom ultimately, if he keeps going the path he's going, may surpass AJ. But at this moment, what AJ has done and what Dom has done, Dom's one of the hardest workers in WWE, if not the hardest worker. But
how is that?
Their ring ability as the same.
How is that disrespectful? It's a video game. It's a rating. If AJ
Styles, if we get a DJ game, all right, and we put Frankie Fresco there as an 87, okay, and we put DJ Stanley as an 85, you're gonna be okay. You don't see that's disrespectful?
No, because I have to see how you DJ.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe you have other traits that are better than or make you be closer to me. Maybe you have a better song selection. Maybe you have you interact more with the crowd than I do. Maybe your mic, you use your mic skills. That's where the people would say, hey, that's why AJ Styles didn't wrestle and Dom was more healthier and he wrestled on a continuous basis. Those make a difference in the rating.
No doubt. Last year, AJ Styles fought for the title. Dom got beat up by Priest.
Correct, but if you also look at it, Dom also went one-on-one against Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes was the champion at that time as well. So
I thought you were Teddy Long on me and be like, Dom went one-on-one with The Undertaker.
But again, I think you're nitpicking little things like that. And if you know what, and the only person that should be felt disrespectful is probably AJ, if that. And if he feels disrespectful, AJ, about his rating being close to Dom, then you know what, AJ Styles, get your shit together and give us a hell of a year as AJ Styles.
Yeah, there you go. Give us a hell of a year. You can go up to 86, 87, and then Dom will be an 86 too. So
I just feel like you're hating on Dom, dude. Dom is a good wrestler. He's consistent. He never gets hurt. He's always gone and he's always doing his thing. He's entertaining. He does his thing. I'm not gonna go. He's with the.
I'm not arguing that he doesn't do his thing.
He brings more to the table. When you look at the overall this past year, he's done more than anything. Keep in mind, he had a storyline with Rhea Ripley, which everybody freaking loved. He was able to do the whole thing with Liv Morgan on there as well. He elevated himself, and he also was able to elevate even more Rhea and Liv because of him being involved with them. I mean, for the love of God, they had a match where he was hanging. Like, like he's elevated these girls. Yes, they're already really great wrestlers, but he's also helped them get even more over the fans. So what has AJ done? He hasn't done anything. He's always hurt. What did he do with the Creed brothers? He didn't elevate the Creed brothers. Those are little things that I look at. So I can't judge on the rate.
Creed brothers.
I'm sorry, not the Creed brothers. Oh my God. The Good brothers. My bad. Oh, today I'm over the place. I said the Jericho thing, and now I said the Creed brothers.
Look, man, my whole thing was like there were like that tweet for me got more traction than me saying Dom is the shittiest wrestler on WWE roster. That's where I'm looking at with the fans. So that's the one that got you upset. Me saying Dom is terrible, the worst wrestler on the roster, gets nothing. But then I say, how is it that AJ's 1 point off, and then the tribalism comes out?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know, Cheyenne. I know. I am fired. I'm messing up all over the place today.
He'll never be fired, by the way.
It's here for life. I know what it is. It's that I didn't have my nap and I didn't oversleep and coming into the show. That's why.
Slept rock.
So I'm like half asleep while I'm doing the show.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Saturday Slam. We had Vengeance Day and we had AEW Grand Slam Australia. Frankie, were you able to really, because again, I know you're a busy man, were you able to get to see any of these?
Don't disrespect me like that. Of course I got to see them. There's something in Frank's life, and you guys are going to call me a loser, but I DJ, I work, and I watch wrestling. Maybe that's why I'm still single. But yes, of course I did watch it. I will say this. When it comes to both shows were really, really good
Mhm.
in their own type of fashion. Now, were there little botches here and there? Could they have done something different? Yes, of course. But they both delivered. They were both really, really good. And at the same time, there was areas of opportunity and, l- l- uh, you know, vengeance. Eddie Thorpe winning. I was surprised about that. Nobody
Yeah,
thought he was
that
going to
got me.
beat Trick Williams.
That got me. Yeah.
But I like that. I like the fact that they did that, even though I'm not a big fan of Eddie Thorpe.
Well, I like the fact the way they did it too, though, where really Trick beat himself because he stepped over and he got yanked, and just the little things though. The little I didn't expect that. But let me ask you this: when you watched both of them, do you think they got it all right? Would you have done some things differently?
All right. I feel like they could have done some things differently on both shows. So on the Grand Slam show, the AEW show, the positives that I saw, I was happy that they made Timeless Tony Storm the main event match.
Yes.
I like the fact that she won. Spoiler alert if you guys didn't watch it.
If you haven't watched it by now, you're probably not going to watch it.
Yeah. I was a very, very fun match with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay winning that match. It had its highlight moments. I was a little bit disappointed. Now, again, this is just my opinion. I was disappointed at Buddy Matthews not winning, beating Okada. I think that could have been a good opportunity for him. I also felt that Harley Cameron could have gotten
Yes.
over.
That one I was a
Mercedes
little bit
Moné.
more upset about than the Buddy Matthews one,
But
because
you
I
wanna
didn't
know-
see
but
Buddy Matthews winning it, but I wanted to have a good showing. That was what I was worried about with Buddy Matthews against Okada. I didn't want it to be a more one-sided affair. I wanted it to be a good match, and then Okada, of course, winning it in the end. The Harley Cameron one, and again, I said you could go both ways with it, but I feel like, man, she's like right there. She's on the tip of becoming something more, man. Like everybody's behind her.
Well, I will tell you this.
They're behind her.
The reason I was upset at the Buddy Matthews is because, man, did you see his injury? Like he walks
That'll
into
start the match.
he walks into the ring, he climbs the turnbuckle to, kind of showcase himself and all that stuff to the fans, and then he hops down and he literally sprains the crap out of his left ankle. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh my God." I did, you could, if you're watching the show, you can't see it, but I saw it on X and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh my
just slow it
God."
down a little bit. You can see it. Yeah.
No, and they did it like on
And he
X.
did a good job of not really like focusing on it.
What? Jesus,
like-
John, he did a really good job. That's an understatement. The guy did an amazing job. He
Yeah, no,
was-
he didn't really limp on it until the end.
Well, the thing is that he kept threatening, like he kept tempting to hurt it even worse. When he fell, I think he got drop kicked from the turnbuckle and flew over, and then he landed on that ankle. I'm like, yo, this guy's crazy. This guy is gonna hurt himself even worse. And I suffered an ankle injury. That ankle must be like a bowling ball today, bro. That guy, props to him, and shout out to Rhea Ripley who was there to support him.
He's on crutches. He's on crutches. They're doing their honeymoon right now. That's why Rhea wasn't on Raw. They did their honeymoon from. They were there for the Grand Slam, and then they stayed. And he was hobbling around Sunday on crutches.
Now let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Out of curiosity, why is it that when you have your friends from a different show, from a different wrestling program, different wrestling company at another wrestling show, why don't they like showing them? Like I understand maybe you're giving publicity.
That's a cardinal sin.
Why? Why? Ask me. I want to know why. Because don't you think? And I might be stupid in this, but if you show Rhea Ripley is there, and you don't have to say, "Hey, Rhea Ripley from WWE is at AEW." I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if the camera by accidentally shows Rhea Ripley, I think you're gaining fans from AEW because now you're creating more controversy. You're like, oh crap, what? Why is Rhea Ripley at an AEW show?
Let me tell you what happened before. There was a crew, two guys that were like Viking guys. Can't remember what their gimmick was. The WrestleMania that happened in Orlando.
What's up, Terry?
What's going on, Terry? What's up, Straight Edge CM Dump? And honestly, this is Dubby. I don't know if you can see it. It's the new energy drink. If you watch the beginning of the show, you can get 10% off SMH10. That's why I'm drinking it. Little product placement here if you want to know about it. Am I thirsty? Hell yeah, I'm thirsty. But damn it, it's Dubby Energy, baby.
Not milk. It's not milk. Cause straight edge.
Not milk. I don't drink milk. I don't drink milk.
Milk does the body good. Go ahead.
Not this body. Look at this body. This body's fantastic.
Maybe that's why you need that body to. You need some milk in that body.
There was a tag team. They did like, it wasn't the War Raiders, but they were something similar to that. They were like, forget what their actual gimmick was. I want to say they were Vikings in a way. One of the guys went to visit his friends in TNA. They were doing the taping. It was actually it was the taping. It was the taping. And they shot him in the crowd. They showed up to the next TV taping and they were fired. Vince McMahon fired him.
Why?
Because again, this is the problem, and this is where, and it's gonna sound terrible coming.
This is a good conversation here. I want to hear this.
There's a big issue with Mickie James being in a Rumble where they couldn't say certain words about her company and her. Yeah, but that's changed now because of their thing with TNA. Before that was an issue because they weren't partners with TNA because Vince would never do what TKO and Triple H and all them have done now. All right. So here's the thing. And this is where, looking through all of this, I would honestly have to agree with Vince a little bit on this, VKM. And it's showing too also by, if you're looking at what's going on in AEW right now, and we'll talk about the state of AEW, but I believe this is probably partially one of the problems too. If I can see you anywhere else, why am I paying top dollar to see you on AEW or WWE? If I can go to a pay $20 to an independent show that you're going to be on, or I can see you sit in the crowd at a show that's lesser, why am I paying top dollar to see you? You're not making me money. Therefore, I don't need you.
But hold on. Let's use that example of Rhea Ripley. She wasn't wrestling. She was just there supporting her husband.
Yes, and that's why you didn't see her. So that's why she stayed in the back, and that's why she did the professional thing.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Okay, so
let me ask you this. Who gets more eyeballs on this situation? Rhea Ripley being in Australia Grand Slam gets more eyes on the AEW product by showing a WWE superstar. How does that make sense for WWE?
It doesn't make sense for WWE.
Exactly. So then why the hell?
But she's at the show. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. It's up to her. If WWE has something in their contract stipulating saying you cannot, there's a conflict of interest, you cannot attend.
Professionalism, man. You stay in the back. You support your husband.
No, but she was sitting in the front row.
Or whatever.
She was sitting in the front row.
But did they show her a bunch?
No, they didn't show her at all. The fans took photos of her while she was sitting in the front row.
So there you go. That was probably an agreement that she made with Tony and them there. I'm going to sit front row. Please do not show me. And AEW did the right thing and didn't show.
Okay, now, if she said that, that's fine. But I
that's probably what happened because
I kind of look at it like this way.
The thing that happened with the TNA was he didn't know he was going to get shown, and that camera that swings.
Yeah,
he was in the back row of the thing, and then they did a swinging shot, and it picked him up. And then when they did it, they said WWE superstar da 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 da, and Vince was like, "Boop, see you later, buddy."
But yeah, so see, that's another thing. Cheyenne, remember when Mercedes Moné first came and then Bailey and a couple of the other ones? I think it was Bailey. Who else? I think it was Naomi. They made their way over to an AEW show. They were sitting all the way in the top and people were taking photos and they were there to support them. Yes. But here's my issue.
But did AEW say they were there?
No, AEW did not say they were there. It was just a fan. But here's my issue. Here's my thing. Why is it such a big deal when you say it's professionalism? At the end of the day, it's all wrestling, right? When you have the NFL, and you have Travis Kelce and his brother plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, or used to play for the Eagles, and then all of a sudden he goes and watches his brother in Kansas City. You're not gonna the Eagles are not gonna penalize him for going ahead and watching his brother. It's the same thing. And they still show him on TV. They don't have to highlight his name and say, "Hey, Travis Kelce's
It's not
brother,"
the same thing, brother. It's not the same thing, man.
Why not?
They're in the NFL. If there was two leagues, NFL and AFL, and Travis Kelce played for the AFL, and then he went to watch his brother play, do you think the AFL is going to want their star shown on the NFL TV?
It happens in soccer. Sometimes you'll have Messi in Inter Miami, and then sometimes you'll see Messi all the way in Barcelona. He's done it before. Same thing with Cristiano Ronaldo and other soccer players. It doesn't affect the league. It shouldn't affect. WWE is such a big powerhouse. Who gives a damn if you show Rhea Ripley? Again, you've mentioned it before.
You're giving your product to the piece of shit AEW to put more eyes on that product. Why am I putting more eyes on the other product?
And that product is going to fail because
they're looking at it. But that's the way they're looking at it. Why am I paying Rhea Ripley $4 million to show up on AEW TV?
They're paying Rhea Ripley $4 million to wrestle.
And again,
WWE.
I don't know.
She's not wrestling.
I'm just saying.
They're paying her whatever amount of money because she's wrestling in WWE, and she's being interviewed, and she's doing a storyline, etc., etc. She's being shown and is actually part of the show. Here, she's just part of the audience. She's a fan, just like everybody else.
No,
Why should it matter,
fan, bro?
I don't get it. I hate when people do that. Like, okay, I could understand as business sense. I understand 100%. You're not AEW shouldn't go zoom in on the camera and say, "Hey, AEW fan, WWE wrestler Rhea Ripley's here watching AEW." I could understand that, and vice versa with an AEW doing the same thing for WWE. But if there's a camera angle, right, and they're fighting, and Rhea Ripley seems to be there sitting in the first row, who cares? You see her there. Okay, great. She's being a fan. Why should it affect? And if WWE feels so threatened because AEW camera got Rhea Ripley sitting front row, then damn, like, is it like that? That's how you feel?
Okay, if you're paying somebody $4 million, let's put you in. This is your money you're paying for people to come see her at your event. You're okay with her just going to anybody's event and sitting front row, and you're okay just paying her?
She's there as a fan. She doesn't. WWE doesn't own her. Rainy Day Pod. WWE owns the talent. No, go screw yourself. No, not you, but WWE, go screw yourself. No, you do not own me. You own me during the time that I'm working on your show. That's when you own me.
You're always working on their show. If she goes and gets a DUI, you think they're not going to be like, WWE superstar Rhea Ripley gets a DUI? They're not going to be like, hey, Rhea Ripley got a DUI. No, they're always working. You're an entertainer. You're never off.
Dude, but
you're never off, bro.
But you comparing a crime to just being a fan at a show. Like, I don't understand what's the big issue. If I'm in AEW and you're in WWE and I see you out there wrestling and I want to support Sean, I'm gonna go over there. And if the camera sees me, okay, fine. And if AEW gets mad at me and be like, Frankie, why the hell are you at a WWE show? I'm like, I'm there to support my boy Sean. I'm not wrestling. I'm not giving WWE an interview. I'm just there sitting as a fan, and the camera got me. Oh well, what do you want me to do? If that's the case, if I'm part of it, then you know what? Then let me go ahead and wear a mask every single time I go out because I'm being viewed and I can't do nothing in this world because I am AEW's product. Nah, man, come on, dude. Like, I hate that mentality.
It's professionalism. It's just like the one time Ricky Starks went to watch Cody, right? What happened? They went through the back, right? Ricky Starks didn't come through, the fans and all this stuff. They got caught when they were walking through the back. Like, it's professional respect.
Sean, I'm not disrespecting AEW if I go see my boy wrestle at WWE. I'm not.
But you're also, if you're going to watch your boy and it's your boy, you're probably not getting a ticket either. You're getting in the back so that you can see everybody and talk to everybody. You're not purchasing a ticket at the ticket booth.
I agree with you on that, but I mean that's if WWE wants to give me those privileges. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm not asking for that. I'm
You
just
do
asking.
realize 3
I'm
years ago, Rhea Ripley would not have been allowed to go to that building.
Oh, absolutely.
VKM would not allow you to do anything.
Yeah. Vince would have fired her ass. He probably would have been like, "Get the hell out of here."
It wouldn't have been fired. It would just been like,
or suspended her or something. He would have done something.
because again, it didn't come out on TV.
But
Nowadays, you got fans that throw out the things on there, and Rainy Day Pod's right, and he's right. Train is right, bro. It's business, man.
I understand. I understand it's business, but again, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, for example, if I'll be honest with you, I used to work for Enterprise Rent a Car. Does that mean that I only could rent from Enterprise Rent a Car? Absolutely not.
But you're talking about two different things, man.
Why am I talking about two different things? I would go and rent from Avis.
Okay, you signed a contract with Enterprise, or were you getting paid by Enterprise? Did you sign a contract? Did your contract read? What would your contract read?
Okay. So now,
and again,
we don't know the wording on the contract. We don't know the word on the contract.
That's
either.
part of the freaking professionalism and everything else in this.
If I'm a wrestler, I will go ahead and make sure I get a lawyer and read my contract before I freaking sign it. I can do that much. Because if I can't even go see my boy wrestle because they're gonna go ahead and pull my ears and fire me, then damn, dude, I might as well just freaking leave already.
Mercedes
owned me, bro.
Backstage when Naomi returned
my soul.
to WWE. Did WWE say, "Hey, Mercedes Moné's here"?
No.
They were in the back, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where it is right now. That's wrestling. They're not just gonna sit there and like, hey, you throw out our business, our product. There you go. That doesn't happen, man. It is a business.
I guess I don't agree with that type of business. I feel like if they're not doing anything to contribute to the other product, they're just there to support a friend.
But Frank, you don't think? Do you, dude? Oh my fuck!
No, I don't. I don't think it's bringing.
You don't think? Okay, if AEW cameras caught her sitting front row, how many views do you think that's going to get if AEW puts that on social media?
No. See, now you're taking it to another level. Nobody
I'm not. No, I'm not, because
nobody's saying that AEW is gonna go ahead and put it on their site and be like, hey, look.
If I take it off the TV and be like, oh shit, on TNT, on Collision, I just recorded Rhea Ripley in the front row and I send it out and 3.1 million people look at it. You just put 3.1 million views on your competition.
Yeah, and then the next day, those 3.1 million views are gone, Sean. Those 3.1 million views are not going to stay there.
3.1 million views never would have been there if that didn't happen.
They're gone. How is that affecting your business?
Because
how is that affecting? Are they going to see Rhea? Are they going to now tune into AEW because they think that Rhea Ripley is going to be in every show? No.
Will they tune in because that now they see that? Oh wait. There's other product out there. Rhea Ripley was on it, so she must like it. Let me tune in and see how it is.
I doubt it.
Okay. Again, that's cool because you're not paying the money that TKO and WWE is to have to worry about it. It's easy for us to sit here and argue. You can argue all you want because you're not paying the money to Rhea Ripley to be performing for your company.
Look, if Rhea Ripley was, if I had Frankie Fresco wrestling Frankie Fresco Freaks wrestling, and all of a sudden Rhea Ripley and Cody and Jey Uso, they're all part of my organization, and Cody goes to AEW to go see somebody and he's in the front row, at least at the beginning, for me, I'm gonna allow it. I don't care. Like it doesn't affect. If I'm 20,000 times bigger than that company, it doesn't affect me. Now, if I see that AEW zooms in on him, highlights his name and says, "Oh, look who's in the crowd, Fresco Freaks wrestler Cody Rhodes," then I'm gonna be pissed because I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Why the hell are
But
you?
you've opened yourself up to it by then. If you say it's okay for them to put them on screen, then why can't they zoom in? What's the difference? You've allowed it to happen already.
I allowed my wrestler to go watch the show.
Go be on TV.
I did not.
Go be on TV. Go.
I allowed my employee, one of my employees, to go enjoy a show that he wants to attend. I did not go over there to go ahead and also assist him in the TV show by going ahead and letting his name being broadcast to the competition either, or giving an interview or getting on the ring and wrestling. None of that stuff. He's just there to watch a show.
You don't think that if a company sees you sitting in the front row, Cody Rhodes, they're not going to go to you and put Cody Rhodes superstar on the thing? You don't think that another company's not going to use that?
Oh, that's
you're very naive, bro.
That's when that
Very
wrestler.
naive. You know nothing about the wrestling business.
That's why I was telling. That's why I was telling you when you mentioned about Rhea Ripley sitting in the front row, and you went ahead and you said she probably had a conversation with Tony Khan and said, "Hey, make sure you don't show me, or make sure this and that." That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. And no, I'm not being naive. I understand that side of the business. I understand that. What I'm just trying to say
Tony
is,
Khan didn't have to live up to that. You know,
of course, but that's
where people don't live up to it. That's kind of that's Rhea. At least maybe they understand he has a good thing with Buddy Matthews, and for the respect of Matthews, he didn't put Rhea Ripley in that position, because I can tell you right now, anybody else is putting Rhea Ripley in a very bad situation.
Maybe.
I know for a fact. I've watched TNA do it. I've watched WCW do it. Hell, I watched Eric Bischoff film a thing in the back to catch somebody in catering during a fake fight in the back, recording so they could show that so-and-so was there.
Again, Tony Khan didn't do it. So he must have definitely had a conversation with Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley must have been like, hey, can you at least respect that? I'm here to support my husband. And kudos to him. If she had that conversation with him,
if they had a conversation, he respected it. And I believe TK's that guy.
I do.
I don't think TK's, a shady individual at all. I don't agree with some of the stuff that he does as far as creatively and things like that. But he doesn't seem like a scumbag like most of the people in the wrestling.
Another thing, just to clarify, what Sean said, that I have no knowledge of wrestling. He's absolutely true. I have no knowledge of wrestling. I've never wrestled. I've never worked in the business of wrestling. I'm a fan just like everybody else. So yes, there will be some things that he knows a lot more than I do. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you a different perspective.
No,
whether the people who are watching like it or not, that's up to you guys. But
there's not many people that have had. And again, I haven't been up in that, but I've seen it happen to people, and I've seen it done enough to understand the way. And again, business has changed a lot. It's not as cutthroat as it used to be. As instant by the TNA. WWE partnership now, the AEW Forbidden Door. You're seeing things, none of that shit would have happened before. None of that would have happened, because nobody's going to let their talent lose to another show's talent and put over another show. That stuff never happened. So, again, there has been some evolution of stuff like this happening. And Cheyenne says, but isn't MVP slated to be at a CC? Yeah, but again, this is where I say, and this is where I was going to get to on the thing is, AEW talent is allowed to work independent shows that are okayed through Tony.
Well, similar to WWE.
Because technically they work on either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when the recording or the live show is, and on Saturday, depending on the shows. So as long as their shows don't interfere with those, they can go and be on independent shows. You don't get WWE talent.
And some, well, no, hold on a second. Obviously, WWE and TNA have a partnership now. So obviously, you're now seeing WWE wrestlers make their way, or at least NXT wrestlers make their way over to the TNA world.
No. But I look at TNA as being on TV. You're not going to be able to go on a Saturday night to a brewery and see Damian Priest or those. Whereas you will be able to see, and again, MVP though has roots with CCW, so there is also a different because you've seen it with who was it? Who was Finn and JD when they went back to their group that they were at in England. They did a one show where they went in and it happens. There's times where they will let their talent go and do that, but you're usually not getting the Codys and those guys.
And Rainy Day
at a show, yeah.
And Rainy Day, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, again, I think the problem is that I think obviously business plays a big sense. I'm not stupid. I know that. That's the main reason. But like, if it wasn't for business, at the end of the day, it should you know Sean makes a good point. Their name is being wherever they go. Obviously, they represent the company. I know that. It just sucks that, let's say me and Sean are like at a show. Let's say we don't like AEW or something like that, and then they show us at an AEW show. That's gonna hurt us, right? Because we've been talking crap about AEW or something like that, or vice versa with WWE or something like that. It's just it comes with the territory. It just sucks that it's like that. That's all. That's my business. I wish it could be a wrestler that could just, hey, I'm there to support like Rhea. I'm there to support my husband. Whether they show me on camera, and I'm talking about whether they show me like they're wrestling right there, and she's in the front row just looking, it's gonna penalize her. That sucks. Is what I'm just saying. I wish it wouldn't go that far, but it's part of the business. I get it.
But again, also it's a little bit of the CYA part too. You have to cover your own ass in a way.
Of course. Yeah.
Again, I don't know what the conversation was. Rhea, again, nowadays it's a lot different. Rhea could have talked to WWE and been like, "Hey, look, I'm going to sit front row for Buddy's match. I don't know what's going to happen, if I'm going to get on TV or not. I'm going to talk to Tony. I'm going to ask them not to put me on TV. But if I do, then, and again, also the other thing, and
it was taped too, so they could have easily.
And again, let's look back at this too. You're talking about Rhea Ripley, one of your big stars. You're not talking about Rory McAllister. They were the McAllister twins, was the team. They weren't, that tier either.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like scapegoats in a way because they knew we can get rid of them and it doesn't matter.
Josh, that's a good point, Josh. Yeah, she should.
But again, a lot of times that's what usually happens. They'll sit them in a suite and they'll watch. I mean, Bailey and Naomi has been there many times watching Mercedes Moné from suites. You've watched them on their Instagram and other people's Instagram taking shots of them. So again, I think a lot of that has changed, but the thing that I don't believe has changed is you don't want one of your top tier talents showing their face on competition's TV.
I get it. And then we kind of diverted because of the whole Rhea Ripley being on TV and not. But the other thing was on the NXT side. I was happy with Stephanie McMahon winning. I'm glad that Julia won as well. I was a little bit disappointed with the fact that they keep feeding Axiom the same different groups, and they just keep beating these guys over and over. And I know that they're over the top, right? They're they're better. Fraxium, I think that's their whole.
Yeah, it's Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
So Fraxium. So, but I just hope, because they've been holding those belts for quite some long time now in the NXT world, and if your NXT wrestling supposed to be for improving your development and eventually hopefully getting them over, which you probably don't because you're gonna get cursed. But anyways, if that's the case, then I think at one point in time I do want to see that group lose the belts, and it's just kind of getting redundant that they keep winning and winning and winning without letting somebody actually like pin them. So that was my frustration with that.
Yeah, I feel like they're building up to some team that's going to come in that they're maybe building or something now, to where when they beat them, it means something.
And I also feel that like bringing in some of your main talent from the main roster, like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and then putting him against Obafemi, I think it hurts the product. I think they shouldn't be the main event. Remember, you want to get eyes. I'm not saying that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory should not be on the live event, but it shouldn't be the main event. They should be
But they weren't the
marketed
main
though.
event. They weren't
No,
the
but
main.
but obviously they're contending against the heavyweight champion, so
Yeah.
they're making it like that's supposed to be the big fight of the actual live event. Like I don't see like if you're gonna have them get involved with something, stick them with against Fraxium. That would have been like that's your tag team belts. That's not as
Well,
big
you
as
were
your
telling a
world
story
title.
where if they worked together, they could have maybe won the NXT title. They didn't work together because they can't swing more against what they're doing. In the thing.
And again, if only the only reason I would allow something like that is if I felt like Obafemi wasn't a good enough wrestler to hold on to that belt. But he's over. Like I'm
No,
ready
he
for
is, but also
I'm ready for him to go to the main
I
roster.
don't think
I want to see how he
anybody
does
was
there.
prepared to be the contender for the title on this pay per view. So
And
they
that's a problem. That's
they
a
threw
problem.
in the two because you threw Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe against each other. Because I think what they're trying to do is wait to get to, I don't know, Obafemi and Trick Williams in a rematch at WrestleMania
Or
weekend.
maybe Ethan Page.
Or
But Ethan
whatever
lost,
that's
didn't he?
going to be.
I think Ethan lost.
No,
against
Ethan
Thorpe.
Page won. He won.
Did?
He did the uppercut at the last minute and re-broke the jaw of Javon Evans and got the pin.
But you feel me? And I know that on the NXT side, I know a lot of you guys don't watch it as much, but on the NXT side, the men's division is kind of weak. That's why it was good that they
Oh,
put Ricky
wow.
Starks.
Sammy Moose showed up tonight on NXT to confront Obafemi.
Look at that, bro. That's
I like
a hella.
Like it. See, this
See, that's what they should have done instead of having.
WrestleMania weekend might be an There's two pay-per-views to be on the lookout for. It's the TNA one, which is I know it's not When Worlds Collide, but I feel like it's something like that. There's a TNA pay-per-view, and then the WWE WrestleMania weekend NXT one. Because I think you're going to get a good collaboration of TNA versus WWE at both of those.
And see, now that is smart. See, those type of moves where you have that partnership with TNA, you could have used that in order to, make look that's I mean, although I don't know if a lot of you guys know who Moose is in TNA, but he's great. He's a great wrestler over there on the TNA side.
Size-wise, he matches up okay with Obafemi.
Hell yeah. It's like
He's not identical to Obafemi, but he'll match up better than a lot of the guys on NXT will.
It's kind of like the Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman type of vibes. They're both big dudes that can go hand in hand, and they could both deliver, man. They both can hang. Their physique is ridiculous, and their cardio. So
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting on there.
All right, we spinning the wheel.
Yeah, we're going to go to spin the wheel now. Hold on a minute. I got to get this set up, so give me a moment, please. This guy, man, always. See, and now I got to get myself set up here. Man, now I got to come over here. All right, time for spin the wheel. Hold on. See, this is where we always mess up, Frankie. Hold on a minute. They can't hear you anyways. They're not even paying attention to you. Yeah, this is the part where I need to get with Finn Sammy and figure this part out. Not gonna lie to you. All right, here we go. We're spinning the wheel. Yeah, this is what Frankie Fresco wanted. So, hold on a minute. We're going to a transition. There we go. Frankie Fresco. Do you want to spin the wheel again?
No. We can talk about this.
You want to do this? All right. So Frankie Fresco sends me a list, and I'm gonna tell you straight up. I usually sometimes actually I grab a couple ideas and blend them into my topics. But on this one, he sends it and it says wrestling hookups. Should they be allowed?
Okay.
I'm not sure where this is going, but go ahead, Frankie Fresco. It is all yours.
All right. So the reason I said this is because and actually, that wheel actually kind of read our minds because we were talking about, the whole Rhea Ripley being and it's a conflict of interest, right? So do you think hookup should be allowed because that could create a conflict of interest as well? I know that when you join a particular company, sometimes they do not allow you to associate yourself and get in a relationship with another person in your department. They would be like, hey, you could hook up with somebody else, but it cannot be in the same department that you work at. In this particular case, probably, hey, look, WWE, they're all one, they're all WWE, or like they're all AEW. So should they be allowed? Now, if you're hook up with somebody, let's say you're a WWE wrestler, and then you hook up with somebody in AEW, that's allowed because he's in a different company. But should it be allowed in wrestling? Again, we've gotten a lot of people, obviously, Malachi Black and Zelina Vega.
Yeah, but most of them are already together when they're going into, or I mean, again, I don't know the whole situation of how many
Okay,
of
so
them,
we'll use
how many of them actually met like at NXT or FCW.
well, okay, let's use
You know.
Tiffany Stratton and Luther Kaiser that they both met, I believe, in
In
NXT.
NXT. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 'cause
should
a lot
that
of
be
those people,
allowed?
they're moved to Orlando. So not only are you spending all day working with them, but then you usually go back and, again, I don't know how it's set up now, but when it was FCW, they used to have like an apartment complex that you could get better rent because, again, what you make at developmental is not necessarily the greatest. So what they did was they had, like townhomes or things where you had 2 or 3 guys or 2 or 3 girls living, and those are right beside each other and they're all in that same area. So not only are you spending all your time working together, and then maybe you go work out together, but then you're also living together. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying, I don't know that it's like, hey, guys, go ahead and hook up all you want. I don't know that it's frowned upon, but again, it's also, you're taking a big chance because, for instance, right now, look at Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany Stratton. Say that goes south. Who do you think's keeping their job right now?
All day, Tiffany.
There you go. There you go. That's where you become the issue. And honestly, I think that's the issue in AEW right now too, right? Who's on TV, who's not being seen?
I don't know. You're asking me. I don't know what
Adam Cole's on TV. Britt Baker's not, right?
Oh yeah, sure, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's other things, and I get it. They came out and they say all the right things on social media and how they still care for each other and this and that. But if you're a company, again, business is business. Whoever's making you the money is going to stay. Whoever's not making you the money is probably hitting the road. So,
yeah, that's another one. Good one, Cheyenne. That's another one. Yeah. And then again, and not only that, but it also in a way puts the wrestling company in a sticky situation because now they have to pick and choose who they want to stick with, and then you're gonna create conflict. So, like for example, now Britt Baker's gonna be talking crap about AEW.
Yeah, but usually what you do is you nip it in the bud and get rid of the one you want to get rid of, so that doesn't happen. So you can't say, "Oh, the company held me down because of the situation." No, we just got rid of the problem.
In a perfect world, yes. Not all the companies work the same as WWE. I think WWE does a really good job on that. But look what they did. I don't know what they exactly happened. Maybe, and there could be different because every situation is different. Andrade's still there. Andrade, I believe he's still being shown in WWE a couple times. Right?
Yeah, he's been backstage with Miz he's actually on SmackDown with Charlotte.
There you go. So,
I just think that situation there's more to that situation than meets the eye. Whatever, I don't know what that whole situation was.
But now look at Finn's post. He says, or Sammy, he says, at least WWE with Raw and SmackDown have a different road schedules. When a couple splits, they can move on from the other brand. Yeah, but from that, I wanted to ask you this, Sean. What do you think about by having
all of those? You have the Edge, Lita, Matt Hardy situation.
I would see that was a bad one. And then let me ask you this. By letting them hook up, they're gonna be more entitled to try to be working together at the same show. So now you gotta, like, for example, Bianca Belair and the guy from the Street Profits.
But they're married. They're married.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They're married. So you keep the married couples together. If they just get together, you don't have to. Could you work to try to make it easier on them? Yes, but also the thing now with WWE's only doing the live shows, the TVs. They're not even doing house shows right now. So that doesn't even matter. You're either wrestling on Monday or you're wrestling on Friday and then your pay-per-views. That's it. Until the end of April, I believe, after WrestleMania. Then they do a couple live shows. But up until then, right now, that's all you're doing.
Yeah. Montez Ford, thank you.
Yeah.
Idris Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean you got Jimmy Uso and Naomi.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean, there's a lot on that whole.
It's another one. Yeah. Karun, good point. Yeah, that was another one. That was pretty sticky.
China lost her job.
Yep. That was pretty bad. See, so that's why this topic wasn't as
You just have to be smart. Again, it's CYA. Like just like I was talking about with going to another company and being on their TV. It cover your ass. You don't know. And that's my thing on it is you just again don't do it in your business, man. Business. Pleasure. Let's spin again. If this lands on the same thing, I'm going to yell. Okay, all right. Frankie Fresco.
This wasn't my topic.
No, this was mine. So if you had to start a wrestling company, you have to start with a feud of men, women, and tag teams. So who are you starting your company with?
Am I able to choose any wrestler? Doesn't matter which.
Yeah. No, you don't have to be WWE, AEW. It could be anybody.
Okay, so my heel. So you said tag team. Damn, I wish you would have given me the heads up of this. All right, tag team.
I messed up. I meant to take a shot of the wheel and I didn't.
Women's and then men's. All right, so I wanted to start with men's, but I'm gonna hold that back. I'm gonna start from kind of like the least to not. I don't want to disrespect the tag team, but kind of like the more obviously heavyweight is more important than tag team in my opinion. So let's do the tag team. So first, a tag team. If I had to do a tag team feud, and to start off with, I would probably start off with FTR because they're right now my favorite tag team group in wrestling. And if I had to put them up against a heelish type of group, I would like to see how they would do with this guy Bo Dallas and his group. So I would put Bo Dallas and what is their name? I forget, man. I'm having such a bad day with memory today.
Wyatt Six.
The Wyatt Six. There, I'm so bad with this. It's because I don't have any wrestling knowledge. All right, the Wyatt Six. So that would be my tag team feud to start off. Now on the women's division, man, I gotta go with Toni Storm, man. She's just killing it. Like at this point, I feel like if AEW lets her, I don't know when her contract is up, but if her contract is up, if I was WWE, I would immediately bring her back. Even though she didn't have a good run in WWE before, I would just bring her back and just go with this Toni Storm all the way. So I would definitely go with Toni Storm. And then on, if I had to pick another woman to go up against Toni Storm, in my opinion, I haven't seen her, but I would love to see her come back. And this one's because I'm a little bit biased. That's my girl, Becky Lynch, baby. I would love to see Becky Lynch against Timeless Tony, just because Becky Lynch is one of my favorite female wrestlers. And obviously, I think Toni Storm is killing it. And then on the men's side, this one's easy, man. Come on. The two biggest guys I feel that are in the company that need to happen, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna even go an extra further. I'm gonna put three guys in this. I'm gonna involve obviously Roman Reigns, The Rock, and then MJF, baby. So those three guys, a feud between all those three guys in a way. If I could start a company like that, I know I would have the fans eating that up all day. MJF would kill. Imagine the Rock versus MJF on Mike battle. Like I saw that with CM Punk and it was good.
As long as it's written down on his wrist, it'll be good.
Ooh, bro, the Rock versus MJF, Mike against Mike. Yeah, I don't even have to see them wrestle. I just want to hear them go at it in the Mike skills. That would be amazing. So that's who I would start my wrestling company feud feuds for my company.
All right, for me, it's Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. Those are the women that I would start off with. The tag teams, I like the Creeds. I know they're not getting a lot of the hoopla that they're getting, but I like them and I like the Hurt Syndicate, man. As an older tag team, I love Lashley. I love Shelton Benjamin and MVP as a mouthpiece. And then the guys, Will Ospreay, who, if you had asked me at the beginning when he first signed with AEW, I didn't know if he had the charisma to kind of. I knew he could talk, but I didn't know if he could be what he has become. And now watching it and with what he can do in the ring, Will Ospreay easy for me, and Jacob Fatu would be my heel. So those would be the two guys that I would start for me. And the only reason I didn't go real old with that is because I think I just want to build on young. And I know it doesn't always work out that way. But to me, I think you got Lashley and Shelton as my veterans. Rhea's been around for a long time. Tony Storm's been around for a long time. They're still young, but they've been around a long time. So that's who I would go with on there. Let's see. They thought you were going to take CM Punk. Sammy said Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins for me. That's not a bad. It's not bad either. There. They also said Sean better be your first recruit. No, I don't need to go up there. Why does WWE keep releasing AOP? I don't know what their deal is with them, but somebody doesn't like them. So we'll do one more wheel and then we'll get on. And here we go. This wheel loves your topics. All right, here we go, Frankie Fresco. I did this one because JBL did a Mount Rushmore of tag teams. So I put on there Mount Rushmore of tag teams, Mount Rushmore of single competitors, and your Mount Rushmore of women competitors. It came up on the singles competitors, and no right or wrong, Frankie Fresco. This is your Frankie Fresco's Mount Rushmore of singles wrestlers.
Well, can you go first on this one while I think about this, if that's okay with you?
100%. I've got, unfortunately, Hulk Hogan. For what he did, there wouldn't be what wrestling is today if it wasn't for him and Vince Kennedy McMahon. Of course, both of them have ruined everything that they built, but it is what it is. We'll see if he can come back from there. Ric Flair for being what he was for the NWA. The longevity to me of The Undertaker and all the stories that have been said about him. And then my fourth is just my personal favorite, the one that I always have looked up to and fortunately got a chance to hang out with him before he passed away, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Those are my four.
Okay. I'm glad that you went first because I was gonna leave out the Undertaker and I have to put the Undertaker on mine. So I'll start off pretty much similar to what you have, but just two different ones in my eyes.
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan. I didn't say unfortunately Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan in my eyes, even though he says his stuff, his work of what he's done in the wrestling world is ridiculous. It's amazing. It's what I grew up to and what a lot of us, I think the wrestling world has evolved because of Hulk Hogan, and you say the same thing with Vince McMahon. So I would have Hulk Hogan on there.
Twice, by the way.
I would go ahead and add obviously the Undertaker. I think the Undertaker was a character that took a wrestling figure and took it to another level. To the and the amount of time that he was able to move on with, like be able to sell this character over the years and never lose interest of the fan. And for a lot of us, he's our favorite wrestler, one of our favorite wrestlers of all time. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. And just like the little simple things, like his wrestling entrance and all that stuff. I always tell you guys that one of my first wrestling events was here at the Miami Arena. I was like 5 or 6, and my dad took me to go see The Undertaker versus Yokozuna. And I remember one day, and there was about probably like 200 people, man. And I remember I saw Yokozuna come in, and then I remember the lights turned off completely, and it was The Undertaker in the entrance when he came in with Paul Bear. It was amazing. And as a kid, I was mesmerized, and I fell in love with that character and his wrestling ability. And that's when I fell in love with wrestling even more than what I was already in love with. Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. The Rattlesnake brought a different level to the wrestling world. The fact that he was ruthless, that he was able to go against authority, and the way that he was able to go and say screw you to his own boss, which a lot of us sometimes would love to do at our
And
regular
work
9 to
mover.
5 jobs, and then sell it, and the fans get invested on him, and this is what literally allowed the WWE to survive, because WCW was just rocking it on that in that time, and he taking that level, that whole feud. I remember one of my friends always wanted to describe Vince and Stone Cold as the Gladiator. You know how the Gladiator had to go against the other, I forgot the heel of that movie. I forgot his name. Um, but that he always said, "Hey, think about it like Gladiator. You know, he's always there, and then all of a sudden the Gladiator he screws over the Gladiator, and then the Gladiator has to come in, kind of redeem himself after him putting, unfortunately doing things to his family and stuff like that." So that was the analogy that my friend gave. So I thought that was cool. And then the last one is just a personal favorite. For me is The Rock, and the reason I picked The Rock is because The Rock is so relevant, man. Even during a short span, he just elevated the same thing, just like WWE, like Stone Cold did for WWE. And every time The Rock comes to the WWE, it's just like a wow moment. You have to tune in, and if you've gotten to that level, it's like I feel like he's kind of like a Michael Jordan in wrestling, where if Michael Jordan was playing, or a LeBron James, if a LeBron James is playing, I gotta go watch him, or I gotta go see him, especially when they're in their prime. So that's the reason why I have Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, and The Undertaker on my Mount Rushmore.
Good deal. And in the comments, Cheyenne has Undertaker, Cena, Ray, Triple H. Not again. I don't think there's a bad one. Sammy has Hogan, Flair, Austin, Cena. Josh goes Cena, Stone Cold, Goldberg. Oh God, and The Rock. I'm not going to pick on you, Josh, about the Mount Rushmore, but I'm not sure Goldberg. I mean, yeah, okay, all right. You must be hanging with Frankie Fresco. Karun asked, "Do you guys have an under the radar Mount Rushmore pick, like someone that deserves consideration, not a lot of people considered?"
Hmm.
I think one that might get there because he'll never get the thing is to me the reason WrestleMania 1 worked so well is because of Roddy Piper, the antagonist taking on Hogan, and then also he took on Mr. T again in WrestleMania 2 and the wrestler versus boxer, as a thing. But again, he will never get that because Hogan was the box office draw in New York. To me, Ric Flair was the box office draw in Jim Crockett, NWA at the time. And again, to be honest, you can replace Ric Flair with Stone Cold, because Stone Cold, again, when you look at the business side of things, Stone Cold drew the most money merchandise ever. But then when you look at Hogan too, is he did it twice. Once with WWE, and then he changed the complexion when he went heel with the NWO and made WCW cool. So when you look at those things, it's hard to say an under the radar Mount Rushmore pick, because really there's only 4 on Mount Rushmore. Now, if I could start carving in other guys, there's a lot of, things. To me, Piper is a big component of why Hogan was so successful with the WrestleMania 1, because you had Piper as the perfect antagonist with Cyndi Lauper, with the whole thing they did with the MTV stuff where he put the whole, what was it, the thing over Captain Lou Albano's head, the glass picture, and then that started the whole Hogan Mr. T thing, which led to Hogan and Piper Piper and Orndorff against Hogan and Mr. T at WrestleMania 1, which led to what we have today in the long run. So to me, he's one of the guys that will get there just because. And then Sammy's right. Savage is another one. I mean, hell, he's still relevant now. You just saw a commercial on the Super Bowl that's got one. The LA Knight still uses his image or his sound, his audio at the end of their Slim Jim commercials. And then you had the one during Super Bowl where they dressed as, like a tribute type thing for Macho Man on there. So he still's got a lot of influence as that goes. So
I mean, for me, besides the obvious like Savage, I think one guy that always stood out for me, and again, I wish he would have had a longer career and he would have done bigger and everything. For me, it would be the Ultimate Warrior. I thought the Ultimate Warrior could have taken the ability to make it bigger, especially since after Hulk Hogan, he was probably the next one to follow in line. It just sucks that he unfortunately was not able to go, and last long. And but I've always had mad respects for the Ultimate Warrior, along with Randy Savage. I've always had those three kind of like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and Ultimate Warrior, like that little group that all three of them were like.
A lot of things with the Ultimate Warrior rub me the wrong way. When you try to hold somebody up for money, that changes my perception of that person. I get it that he sold merchandise and everything kind of changed around and everything, but I just, you're being built by a company and then you feel that you need to hold that company up for money. But then again, too, is I heard a story on Undertaker 6 Feet Deep where he said Roddy Piper told him, "Hey, you're hot right now. You need to hold Vince up for money," and Undertaker didn't do it. So again, I don't know if somebody was in Ultimate Warrior's ear or what, but ultimately what they did was they said they were going to give him the money. He went out there, he lost the title, and then when he got back, Vince fired him right out of the locker room. So, those types of things kind of sour me because what the Ultimate Warrior could have been when Hogan was leaving, and then you decided to do that, which I guess in hindsight it helped out everybody else because then it went to Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and started moving that way to transition into what we have today because those guys may never have gotten that opportunity if the Ultimate Warrior stayed because I think the Warrior would have stayed the champion for a long time.
I'm assuming that if you feel that way about the Ultimate Warrior, you must feel the same way about Jimmy Butler then.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You get paid to do your job, man. You agreed to the contract you agreed to. Play for your contract. Look, your contract expires, do whatever you got to do. But you're still being paid. It's not like you're not getting paid. You're still being paid. You agreed to a contract. Okay, you screwed up. You should have went for more money. You didn't. Finish the contract you got, and then we renegotiate. Or you do it the right way and be like, hey, try to figure out a way to make it work. And I get it. There comes a time where neither side wants to budge, but to force people's hands when you're making $50 million, come on, man. Come on, bro. I can't feel sorry for you.
I'll hold my comments on that topic.
No, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Why?
We're talking wrestling.
It's okay. We got 5 minutes. Go.
It's okay.
No, I want to hear this now.
Next,
I want to hear it. No. I want to hear it now.
When we bring let me talk to you. We'll talk about it.
Oh boy, here we go. This guy. He's for the player. He is the Frankie Fresco. All right. State of the WWE. And again, this whole day is about us talking it out and talking out the issues we see, the good stuff we see, and everything else. Funny, nobody chose Triple H. Dude is currently saving the image of WWE and keeping the ship afloat. Also had a tremendous run in the ring. He had a tremendous run, but nothing he did. Again, the three that I chose, and I think everybody Frankie chose, changed something in the industry or brought something. Triple H was tremendous. He did his job and he did it tremendously, and he is saving the image of what WWE is now. But that's not. Triple H was one of my favorite wrestlers. When I was wrestling, I used to kind of watch him and pattern some of the stuff I did around him, but nothing about him puts him at the Mount Rushmore. Triple H was more known for DX than Triple H.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk Triple H, it's DX, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. He got into Hall of Fame first as D Generation X. Now they're bringing him in as Triple H.
Oh, you know, we could have mentioned a woman too.
No, I mean, if we do the women's, but that was the Mount Rushmore of singles, men. We didn't do the Mount Rushmore of women. That's on the list. I'll leave those two. There's still the tag teams and the women on the spinning wheel. So I'll leave those up.
Okay.
So why does people hate on Goldberg?
People do not hate on Goldberg. Sean hates on Goldberg. Tell us
I'm
why.
not the only one that hates on Goldberg.
Why you hate on Goldberg, man? Tell us.
Here's my thing, man. He's good when you bring him in for that flash. My problem is every time they bring him in, what do? They make him a champion. They make him like, and it's just like, why? It's like Jericho right now. Jericho is an attraction. Goldberg should be an attraction. They shouldn't be your guy holding titles. Let Jericho do what he does best. These damn learning tree segments, this showdown, stupid shit that they did. That is where he's at his best. Let Goldberg come in, spear somebody, hit a jackhammer, and go. That's it. I don't need to see Goldberg try to go 22 minutes with a concussion when I know that's not him. It's like Hogan. It's like Cena. They've got 5 or 6 moves. Get your move set in, end it. Done.
If Goldberg was a lot younger, would you still feel the same way?
I don't know. I'd have to see. That could change something. If I thought he could bring something and win the title and go for 1 to 2 years with the belt, that might change something. Yeah, but like watching him go now, it's just like bring him in as an attraction. Be done with it.
I mean, he could be like Roman Reigns, defend the belt every like three months.
There you go. And look what Roman Reigns is. Cat for life. What's up, my man? Sean is a cup of hate. I'm haterade all the way, baby. Haterade all the way on Goldberg. If you go grocery shopping in Bourne, Texas, you'll have a good chance of running into Goldberg.
We need to go visit Bourne, Texas then.
I'm not going to Texas.
We should. WCW was awesome. WWE Goldberg, meh. Yeah, true. I agree. He had a big part in the WCW world. In the WWE world, he was just another wrestler.
Because that's the thing is WCW made Goldberg bigger than the company.
Yeah, they did.
That's the problem. That's when you have your issues because
him in
as
the
I
butt.
say, what hurt them was once Goldberg lost, then what?
Yeah,
And especially the way you had him lose.
that too.
No matter who made that decision, the fact that you had him lose to Kevin Nash with a what was it, the stick, the prod with Scott Hall prodding him,
Yeah.
and then the thing, and then so then what do you do with Goldberg next? Then you bring him back, and he's feuding with Bret Hart, and Bret Hart wears an armor thing, and he hits the spear, and he's laying on Bret Hart, and Bret Hart's laid out, and they're like, oh my goodness. Then Bret Hart just sits up, rolls him over, and then pins him. I mean, come on, like you, everything you did to build up Goldberg, you killed that quickly.
Sounds like AEW all over again.
And that's what happened. They made two entities in WCW, and both they made bigger than the company. NWO and Goldberg. Both of them were bigger than WCW. When you said Goldberg, you didn't mention WCW. And when you said NWO, you made it like it was competition to WCW. So that's where they went wrong. State of WWE, we've got 10 weeks, or actually I think it's 9 weeks or in some days, till WrestleMania, Frankie. We have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. We have talked about this, and you've said it more than once. I don't know how they're going to keep the interest in the Jey Uso Gunther for 10 weeks, for 9 more weeks of this now. I mean, this week you had Gunther come down doing the Yeet entrance. And I get it that the audiences are into it, but okay, so you're doing all of this now leading up. So we get 9 weeks of Yeet throughout the buildings. the payoff to me is if they have Jey Uso win the title, the payoff is 70,000 people doing the yeet with the little drone going around, catching at all the excitement and things like that. But we've seen it, and then we're going to see it for another 9 weeks, and then we're going to see it. Like, at what point does it get too much?
It doesn't, because that's what they're training our our minds to already see it. So we already know that's what's coming. So there's no reason why to change it. We're still all bought in. So why change
Yeah,
it? They're not
but are you seriously bought in on it? I'm asking you seriously.
Myself, no, I'm not, because I've already told you, I've already seen this fight, and I felt like the way that they did Jey Uso was he kept losing, and then all of a sudden now he wins the Royal Rumble by barely eliminating John Cena, and then now all of a sudden he's running it back against Gunther, and now he's gonna get over just because he has the yeet thing. For me, it doesn't work. For the casual fan, they eat it up. They were yeeting when Gunther was coming down.
Yeah.
So they already won. There's the question is not how they're gonna keep feeding us for 9 weeks. The question should be, damn, now we gotta wait 9 weeks for this thing to get over with. That's what sucks. But
It is. And then now, for you, we know now the 6 members in the chamber. It's Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, CM Punk, Damian Priest, and John Cena. Who do you, Frankie Fresco, want to see at WrestleMania?
I mean, you guys know who I want to see, and it's CM Punk. But there's a reason why I want CM Punk. If you look at CM Punk is getting up there in age. CM Punk also, I don't think he has that much left in him. I'm being honest with you. He had a hell of a run in AEW. He wrestled consistently. You don't see that in the WWE world, which is good for him. But at the same time, I think, to be honest with you, I don't see CM Punk wrestling for like another 3 or 4 years. Like maybe the tops. That's it. But you're running out of time with CM Punk. So if you don't get him at this WrestleMania, you gotta get him for at least the next WrestleMania in the main event. If you don't, so I want to see CM Punk because I do want to see him in WrestleMania. And I also saw in a podcast they were talking about it. I think it was the Undertaker podcast, the 6 Feet Under, where he actually spoke really highly of CM Punk. And he was saying that CM Punk, right, this CM Punk is completely different than the CM Punk when he was a lot younger. He's he's approachable now. He's actually
but his antagonist is gone.
Cheyenne.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. But the person who antagonized CM Punk the most is gone. And everybody's kind of working together now, which gives CM Punk that environment that he wants, really.
Here's my issue, man. And a lot of you guys, because Cheyenne is not the only one. Memo's another one who always tells me the same crap. He's like, yo, he quit on WWE. I don't think he quit on WWE. He quit on Vince McMahon. He was frustrated.
Got tired of the bullshit. That's what he did. He got tired of the politics.
He quit on Vince McMahon. And that happens to us. Sometimes you're at a job and you're like, yo, I'm not quitting the company. I'm quitting my supervisor because he's a pain in the ass or she's a pain in the ass. I don't want to be here anymore. To the point where, like, I love the company, but I can't do me if I got somebody who is making my life a living hell. So I got to make a business decision and I got to get the hell out of here. Yep. So I'm the type of person who've always gone ahead and thought CM Punk didn't quit WWE. He quit Vince McMahon. And I'm seeing that more now than ever, that the man really, really does love wrestling. And look what he did. Like I think also he also got a reality check when he went to AEW. Maybe he thought the grass was green on the other side. And when he tried that, he's like, oh, crap, this is really bad on this side outside of the WWE world. Maybe I also should reflect and I also had my falls. So maybe I should change. And I think that's what he's doing. And that's why I don't hold any hard feelings to CM Punk. And I think the biggest, like that about him.
Yeah, the biggest part of it is the politics. He was tired of the politics backstage. I go out. I'm the best at what I do. I'm better than everybody else out here. and I can talk better on the mic than everybody else, and yet I get squat. You have me with Ryback, who's trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, no, if this is what you got, then no, I'm done. I'm not going to tear my body up because I know I only have so much time on my body. I'm not going to let you just run me into the ground without getting anything out of it. And then, as you say, I think he went and he said, okay, AEW is going to let me be me. And then there's still politics there. And that's not what he's about. He wants to go in. He wants to do what he does best, which is wrestle and drop pipe bombs and everything else and have a decent working environment. It's not going to be perfect. It never will be.
Nope.
But he's about, and then also when you watch him, he goes to NXT now. He's going to be working with the next group. If you remember back in the video, Paul Heyman said CM Punk was the one that sat with him watching videos in NXT or whatever it was then, FCW actually, I think it was then, and OVW and all that stuff. It was Jim Cornette and Paul Heyman both said he was the one that came in and watched the tapes and helped write shows and all that stuff. So he's already transitioning to what he's going to do after, the ring work. And I think one of the things that is interesting to me is I thought, for me, I was like, okay, and this is interesting because I was listening to the Busted Open radio. I don't know if you caught what Bubba said about the John Cena winning the title. They should do it on his last match and build it up the whole time as John Cena's last chance, last match to break the record and kind of build up the whole time to where then Cena wins it and then just drop the title because then you can do whatever you want with the title afterwards. And to be honest, if he's going to do this whole year, if he wins it at a pay-per-view in December and he drops the belt, what better way to do the Royal Rumble than the winner become the new heavyweight champion of whatever belt? John, you make the Royal Rumble that much better if you do that. So I don't think Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. I think it comes down to two people, and it's going to be interesting because I also think Seth is already slated to take on Roman, but I think it comes down to Seth or CM Punk. I think one of those two guys are going to be because when you look at the way the WrestleMania card's taking shape, you don't have that big match.
Yep.
And I feel like they've got to have either CM Punk against Cody or Seth against Cody. And he said true, but in Saudi Arabia. Oh, that's right. Next year's Royal Rumble is in Saudi. That's right. I forgot.
Give it to those Saudis.
I forget about that stuff, man. Forget about that. So it's going to be interesting to see which way they go. But
Cheyenne, yes, Seth and Roman will get a massive pop, way bigger than Gunther and Jey Uso. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know though. I feel like that place, they're going to have it set up to the place to pop with the day one. The day one stuff is going to just blow up. Charlotte, Tiffany, got you excited about that one?
Yeah. I think
I didn't like the way it was done, man.
I wish in WWE they could curse, and I wish Charlotte Flair could have said, "I challenge you, bitch," and then walked out.
Maybe that's what it is. It's just like, I choose you, and she's laid out, and it's like, it's kind of anticlimactic, man. I mean,
I wish she would have said that. She would have thrown that B word, but they can't say it.
Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Dokada, she should have done Dokada, bitch,
Yeah.
and then that would have been like a pop right there. But it's not. They have a lot of time to build that one up, and I think.
And honestly, that one will build itself to me.
That's kind of like the complete opposite of the Jey Uso. Like, you don't need to build up the Jey Uso and Gunther because we're already tired of it building it up.
Yeah.
Just let them fight.
Yeah,
but the Charlotte Flair, and they could lead up and they could do really good things about it. So
no, and there's time too. Again, like we said, there's 9 weeks. Even after this pay-per-view, they're gonna have 7 weeks, I think it is, because the pay-per-view's in 2 weeks, I think it is. So they'll have 7 weeks to build up just that And then you'll have Rhea Ripley defending against either Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca,
Alexa Bliss.
Bailey, Alexa Bliss. Who am I missing? Oh, Roxanne.
Yeah, I mean, I want Alexa Bliss to win it, man. I know she just came back, but I want her to win it. And you know how they're doing those secret codes with the Wyatt Six on there. I wanted to get involved. I feel like the WWE has kind of let me down with the Wyatt Six. So disgusted with the WWE when it comes to the Wyatt Six. I really love the Wyatt Six. I think they have a huge, huge opportunity to make that group bigger than what it is right now, and they just keep fumbling the ball with those.
No, once they get everybody back, it'll be back on
They
track.
keep fumbling. But I will say this, I do like the fact that they're using the QR codes and the little signs when Alexa Bliss is there. So it would make sense for them to some way, somehow have Alexa Bliss versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and then the Wyatt Six some way, somehow gets involved.
Yeah.
That would be badass.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess Alexis or Bianca would be my two. Just because I feel like the Jade thing is going to take a turn at some point. And I feel like that's going to be the turning point. But again, supposedly she's been training at the PC and everything else, but we haven't seen her in a while, and it's like, So I don't know which way they go, but to me, I'd rather see Bianca against Rhea, or, as you're saying, Alexis against Rhea with the Wyatt Six involved. I don't know Alexis versus Rhea one-on-one, but if you start throwing in the Wyatt Six type stuff in there and make that match, entertaining that way.
Not only that,
you could buy into that.
Can you believe, like, imagine they're both fighting, right? And then all of a sudden, all the power goes out. Like, they turn off the lights and it's flickering. And not only that, you don't know what the Wyatt Six, and now you could create an actual feud between the Wyatt Six and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
And then you could also go ahead and be like, Rhea Ripley, be like, damn, I need a backup. She might go back to the Judgment Day by then.
Dom back, baby. You talking about Dom coming back in? I need Dirty Dom. I need
look at that storyline that I just threw you guys. It could be so much.
You know what's interesting is, I don't know if you've seen it on the feed, on the X feed or any feeds. I'm not sure where else they put it out. I can't remember who it was that put it out. But in June of 2023, before Alexa Bliss left, she was in a match with Bianca Belair. And Bianca Belair was fighting and put up chairs to do the KOD through the chairs, and the lights turned on in one of the entryways of the arena. And then you just see the Uncle Howdy figure there doing his tip of the hat and all this stuff there. And it caught Bianca like looking at her, and then allowed Alexis to chop block her and DDT her and leave her laying. So again, the little things you could do with the Wyatt Six. Imagine, they're fighting all around the arena. You go to one and it's whatever, not Sister Abigail, whatever the witch is, Nikki Cross. You go to another one, it's this, another one. You have each character at different avenues of it. And at some point, Uncle Howdy or whatever. It'll be interesting.
Now, what do you think of what Cheyenne said? Because Cheyenne said that for the Wyatt Six being a tribute to Bray, they are not getting the push for it.
Yeah.
Do you think that that maybe that group was shut up just for, Bray Wyatt and, kind of like a tribute to them, but they weren't ever planning on getting them to the point where maybe even Bo Dallas would win a heavyweight belt or any of them?
No, I don't think they were ever going to get to a Bo Dallas winning a title. I don't think. Again, I think they messed up the Bray Wyatt character.
Yeah, Alexa, not Alexis.
Whatever, Alexa Bliss, whatever the hell it is. So I think they messed up the whole Bray Wyatt character when they put the title on him to begin with.
I don't think
because
so.
No, but again, you make the character human by putting the title on him. That title they don't need. I mean,
Undertaker had the title.
Yeah, he did. And how many times did he hold it for a length of time? Not much.
You can't. So, but that doesn't mean that he can't have it.
Yeah, the
problem was that they didn't know how to use him after he became a champion.
Here's the thing, okay? If you're a what is it, supernatural, how are you getting beat by somebody? How are you getting pinned?
It has to be like a no bars type of.
Remember, most of the time, the
Okay.
Undertaker's lost was casket matches because everybody would beat him up
Well,
and
that's,
they'd throw him in the casket and seal it, and 8 people would do it or something, and then they'd
bring
burn
that
the
back.
casket.
Bring that
They
back for Bo
always
Dallas.
did those things. The problem right now with the whole thing is Bo Dallas is, I believe, the one that's injured. At least that's what somebody said on a podcast. And I believe the problem is Bo Dallas is not on the road with WWE. And I believe Bo Dallas has to be there as part of the agreement to sign off on what they do with the Wyatt Six. Because remember, this was a project that was put together by Triple H and everybody else with Bo Dallas, the blessing, so that they could honor Bray Wyatt. And without him there, I don't know that they feel comfortable doing anything because, again, what are you going to do without Uncle Howdy there? You don't just put them out there to have a tag team match.
You put them out there to set an example of what they are, a group to fear. Remember when they first came out, they destroyed everything around them. So just because Bo Dallas is not there doesn't necessarily.
And then the next week they were baby faces against Karrion Kross and them. Like the whole thing has not made a lot of sense if you look back at it.
They haven't been able to use them correctly.
They took out everybody in the back, and Chad Gable became the one guy that everybody remembered because he was laying there.
Well, he was the only one that
They
they kind
took
of
out
did.
everybody else. There was producers laying there in their own blood. There was other guys laid out, but Chad Gable became the focal point because of where he was at and where the camera stopped and everything else. So I think without Bo there, there's no
I think
trajectory for what they want to do.
I think he doesn't have to necessarily be there for them to have to forget about the rest of them. You could do segments with Bo Dallas where they do the fight, they wrestle, and then Bo Dallas, they do like a segment of him, a video segment of him, and saying like you're looking at them or something, or saying yes, we're getting it
What's
done,
the
or
injury?
one-on-one.
That's the problem. You don't know what the injury is.
Okay, but you don't need him to wrestle. You don't need Bo Dallas to wrestle right now. If he's a serious injury,
he's Bo Dallas and he's sitting there with an arm up in the air because his arm's broken or his shoulder's broken, and he's sitting there like this as Uncle Howdy. That doesn't work.
I don't think he would.
Nobody knows what the injury is, but he hasn't traveled with WWE in about 3 months. So he's been gone about as long as Jade Cargill's been gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. Because I really do feel Bo Dallas could get to the level of Bray Wyatt, and I really do feel that he could win a belt. Now, can he hold it? No, or he should hold it? No. But man, can you imagine? Can you imagine like a Bo Dallas versus a Penta? Those are great matches.
Those matches are going to be good. I just don't think they need a title, man. I don't think the Wyatt Six needs the title to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. Like that's the thing is like
they don't need it, but if they're able to elevate him to get one, what's so wrong about it?
I just don't see how you elevate him at this point right now. When you look at the main event picture, nothing right now says Bo Dallas or the Wyatt Six gets elevated into that title picture right now.
I agree.
Unless they go the Jey Uso Gunther route. But on the other side, you've got Cody, Roman, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. You know, I mean, it's just there's a lot of
think about it. Why you could do
top talent, man.
The Wyatt Six bringing in terror to Cody, bringing in terror to the Roman Reigns. You could do so much about it. They just don't want to use them, man. I think what Cheyenne is right. They're just a tribute group just for Bray Wyatt, and that's it. They don't want to do more than just that. So they'll just take them from,
but that's all Bo Dallas wanted, though. Bo Dallas said at the end of the thing, he just wants to come back to wrestling. Remember, Bo Dallas left wrestling. Bo Dallas was sitting on his farm And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, hold on a minute.
While you're saying, hold on a minute, I might as well say something. I just feel that wouldn't it be kind of like a redemption story for like Bo Dallas? He's like, yo, I'm righting the wrong of my brother, and it inspired me. There's people who have, let's say, like Michael Jordan. He used to play basketball. He got tired because he won so much, and then he retired, played some baseball, and then he got the sudden urge of like, yo, I want to come back to basketball and ball out. Obviously, he sucked in baseball, but he got the urge. It could be the same thing, his brother passing away all of a sudden gave him the strength to go ahead and be like, yo, I really want to be back into wrestling and I want to be the number one guy in WWE or whatever wrestling organization he tends to stay. That would be a hell of a story. Again, you could turn anything. It's wrestling, man. It's a soap opera. I just feel you just have to win over the writers and the executives, you know, way of thinking in order for them to push you. But I don't. Again, we don't know how much Bo Dallas wants. Maybe Bo Dallas doesn't want any of that stuff. Maybe he, like you said, maybe he just wants to be middle of the pack, and that's fine. I just feel that I don't want him to be an Anthony Edwards. Don't be an Anthony Edwards. I don't want. I just come to wrestle and that's it. But I don't want to be the main guy. I don't want to be the face of the NBA. I don't want to be the face of WWE, because then you're selling yourself short. And I don't like that. I don't like that from somebody. I like when somebody looks to drive to be the best. If you want to be the best, don't fear it. Don't run away from it. Push forward and go for it. Finn Sammy just wrote, they changed Ricky Stark's name to Ricky Saints on NXT. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. Are you serious? That's so stupid.
I knew that was going to happen.
Wow, dude. I'm still going to call him Ricky Starks. Screw that.
They should call it Ricky Starks and put an E in between the K and the S.
Oh
Ricky
my
Starks.
God. And does he have a say on that? No, right? Probably.
I mean, they probably gave him some. At least people I've talked to say that they were given like a list of names they could do, and then if you come up with a better name, you can do it, but you need to like come up with the whole thing because the names have like their gimmicks and their wardrobe and stuff like that. So
is Ricky Starks? That's not his real name, right? That's his stage name.
I'm guessing because usually if you keep your name, it's going to be the same.
Let me see. I'm gonna look him up.
I was looking up because there was a lot of conversation about Liv Morgan and Bo Dallas being a couple.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And apparently that wasn't 100% the truth. So
actually, he was born Ricky Starks. That's his
actual
name.
They changed. They took it away from him. Then.
That's so stupid. That's so
no, because what they're probably going to do is you're going to see they're probably going to do a bunch of merch on them, and then they will own the Ricky Saints thing because if it's Ricky Starks, he keeps it.
Damn,
it's a thing.
I know how you feel, Fan Sammy. I know. I agree with that emoji.
You know, the thing is, though, and again, it comes down to the business side. I remember, speaking somebody that I know was, the story of MVP, and I know he's told it many times, is John Laurinaitis told him, if you can come up with a gimmick that can make us money, we'll sign you. And it just so happened that was the same time when, what was his name? Terrell Owens was doing his thing in the back in the MVP. That's how he made the MVP character. And he's kept the name because he came up with it. So, again, it's one of those things. It's business, man. You got to be able to make the money. So,
gotcha.
So we'll see. But then again, you have your guys like CM Punk who they bring in, they use his name, Cody, which is Cody. I mean, however you want to do it.
That's why.
Then you had Bryan Danielson who came in and they made him change it to Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, but then look at Ethan Page. Ethan Page kept
Ethan Page is Ethan Page. Like it's always about like certain things, I think, because I think, again, Ricky Starks is known in their thing, but it's not like they can't just change it and come up with. I don't know if the Saints thing is. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Like, is he gonna wear all white and be like a saint? Is he gonna be all like a baby face type thing? Like what they're gonna do with him? It's gonna be interesting to see where that rolls out at from there. Hold on a minute. I want to get over to the state of the AEW now, but I forgot to put Frankie Fresco on the screen when I almost brought him over. We would have not seen Frankie Fresco, and everybody would have been very upset about that because of my Stranahan education. Apparently, that's what everybody says. At least the cool kids. All right, the final selection of the night, the state of AEW, and we talk about it right now. Ricky Starks shows up at NXT. He is now Ricky Saints, apparently. Where do you stand right now with AEW? I'll say this much. I feel they have taken strides forward with a lot of the things they're doing. Do I agree with every step of the way? No, but also I will criticize a lot of things because I'm more of the storytelling thing. But then also, me and you disagree on the whole fact about, like, I like the fact of what they did with Dustin Rhodes. And I know you didn't, but I also said, I feel like they're setting this up. It's in Texas. He's going to get beat down. Hangman Page is going to save him. And that's exactly what they did. So it told a little bit of that story there, whereas that made more sense to me than the whole Jeff Jarrett. But again, when they brought out the Jeff Jarrett, it was in Tennessee. It was in Alabama. Jeff Jarrett is known in the Mid-South area. He's a big name there. You go to Austin, Texas, you bring in Dustin, but my other worry is I don't know if they know what they're going to do with MJF, because I got to believe you're not feeding Hangman Adam Page to MJF, and you can't be feeding MJF to Hangman Adam Page, right?
That's the next feud, no?
I mean, that's the next feud, but who do you see coming out on top? And then I guess the next question is, where does the winner of this feud go? Do they go right into the main event picture? Because you got Will Ospreay, you've got Kenny Omega, you've got Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher. They're kind of all battling up there at the top. You've got Cope, who, again, I didn't agree with that ending. I didn't like... I get the numbers game thing, but like, this is supposed to be the next opponent, and he got choked out.
Yeah.
For the pay-per-view. And you choked them out there. And I get it, the numbers game and all this stuff. But you're telling me the numbers game won't be there at the pay-per-view?
I mean, but then you said that you like the storylines, though.
No, I like this. I've said this over and over, though, Frankie. I don't know what they're doing with the Death Riders, which is their main angle. I have no clue where that thing's heading. At least they finally said why the title's in the briefcase. But then Edge takes the spike thing and tries to break the briefcase, which is holding your heavyweight title. Man, I hate doing this with NXT going on. Everybody starts throwing stuff out there. I'm like, what?
I knew the Hardys were going to come back.
I knew that at some point they were going to. But.
No, I think it was Ringside News was actually saying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a feeling that was going to happen.
All day.
I was happy to see Santino finally back, too. That was a pretty good little segment, too.
That was good. Put Santino and R-Truth together.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, so good.
Look, my issue with AEW hasn't changed, man. And yeah, they try their best with the storytelling and everything, but once again, they unfortunately find a way to F it up. You know, like it just look at what happened. Like what you said, you know, you had a Cope. He was gonna bash the case with the title in it. You're pretty much putting down that title. we haven't seen that title in how long? Like that's your main. First, we were criticizing AEW because they had way too many titles, and now we don't even get to see the main title. It's like they always find a way to f it up. It's so. I feel like they're
You know
still
what?
stuck in the same situation as always. That
I
they're like da da da. Like all right, one day they'll get it right and they'll find a way to f it up, and then you're like, we're back to square one where they just can't they can't just figure out a way to put everything in place. They always have to find a way to screw it up.
I almost feel like they're doing the Death Riders. They're trying to make them bigger than AEW. How we just talked about how WCW ended up messing up by making NWO bigger and Goldberg bigger than the company. It feels like they're trying to make this Death Riders like kind of like at first I thought they were supposed to be like the ones that kind of change it, and then you brought back Orange Cat, Orange. You had the people trying to save AEW, and then they eliminate all the ones that are trying to save AEW, and then it's like we're trying to clean out the people that don't belong here, and it just like I don't know. I just always have a problem with saying we're going to clean out the people that don't belong here. Then why are they signed to a contract? If they're not good enough to be there, why did Tony Khan sign them to a contract? Like I always hate that when the heel's always like, "Oh, you're not good enough to be in here with me." That's independent shit talking to me. That's like you get on the independent level. When you get up to that, like there should be more involved into the story than just being like, well, they're not good enough to be on our AEW, so we're going to cleanse the system. What?
Well, I mean, they say a lot of things that don't make any sense. Because I remember when Moxley on that collision, like right before Grand Slam, I told you he went on this rant saying that Cope, you want a title shot, you're not gonna get a title shot. And then in the same promo segment, 5 minutes later, he's like, "I'm giving you a shot," and I'm like, "What do you like?" Again, like you ranted for for like 10 minutes that you're not gonna give him a shot, and then the last 10 minutes of your segment, you're saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you a shot. It's my rules, but I'm gonna give it to you now." That's stupid. So, I feel like it's the same. Nothing's changed with AEW. I feel like the only difference that has changed is that at least they're trying. But besides that, I don't even know what their numbers look like for Grand Slam. Do you know what their Grand Slam numbers look
The
like?
Grand Slam numbers, I don't know yet. They haven't came out. I know NXT beat them on the Dynamite and NXT numbers. But again, remember, the Dynamite was recorded on Tuesday and then played Wednesday. So it wasn't live necessarily. And I can't believe that these numbers are probably going to be the greatest because, again, it was recorded and played back after the All-Star thing. So, you had your people that stayed up to watch it or whatever, but
It's just disappointing. And then again, like I told you, it's like you're bringing back Will Ospreay against Kyle Fletcher. Do I really want to see that? They had a hell of a fight in the pay per view.
this time it's in a cage, right, or something?
Okay. How are they gonna top that match that they did in AEW just because they put a cage? At the pay per view in Orlando, World's End. How are they by putting a cage? I mean, maybe I guess it's just I don't know. That match was ridiculous, and so it's all over again. And then the Hurt Business, I like the Hurt Business.
Start Syndicate, sir.
I'm sorry, the Hurt Syndicate. My problem with the Hurt Syndicate is I think it's going to happen similar to what happened to them in the WWE world. They're going to go on this run for a minute, but they're not going to do anything good with them afterwards. And it's going to become so redundant of these guys over and over and over that the fans are going to eventually just get bored of this group. I hope that doesn't happen, but I think that's what's going to happen. Right now, they're new to the AEW world. So they're popping. But how long is this ride going to last? That's my biggest question. Yes, the fans are screaming, hurt, 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 and all that stuff. That's awesome. Kind of like the Yeet thing. But then once the whole, let's say a year from now, if they're just still the tag team champions, are people still going to be invested on the Hurt Syndicate? I don't know. And I that's my fear when it comes to the Hurt Syndicate. I think that they're gonna eventually. They're not. They have to bet. They need to do more eventually. I hope they do more. I
Oh
like.
no, I think you're going to see a lot more from them. I think right now, again, this is where I feel like the main event picture is such a jumble because of whatever hell that thing is that is the Death Riders. I mean, AEW even brought out a white shirt now that says Death Riders on the bottom. Like they have merchandise now for this group, and which is all good, but what the hell are they? And the way they run through everybody.
They do have a Hurt Syndicate shirt. Let me take a look at it.
Oh no, there's a Hurt Syndicate shirt out there. Yeah, the We Hurt People shirt is out there. But also there's now a Death Rider shirt, which is an all white shirt, and at the bottom it says Death Riders AEW. It's just a plain white T-shirt.
Oh, I see it. Death Riders.
Yeah, but my question is, like, I still haven't figured out what they are. You know, like they've been running this for a while, but who are they still? What are they? You know, I mean, you had the Bloodline form in WWE, and I get that it's two different things, but once it formed, you started understanding what they were. I still don't know what the hell Death Riders are. You've got Claudio, you've got, Pac, they're the trios champions. You've got Moxley as the heavyweight champion. Shafir is the muscle, but yet has there been one opponent that has been close to beating them? Because in the four-way, I was like, nobody there really looks like they should win that. Moxley should win it easily. And then now you got Cope, but you just had him choke out Cope. So, like, I don't understand what they're doing with that. Again, you had Claudio in the match. Why not let Cope pin Claudio so he holds a victory over the Death Riders so that there's a crack in the armor? No, you had Cope get choked out.
But he already had a victory with FTR when they wrestled in Collision or Dynamite. I think one of the two.
That was in Asheville. That was in their hometown on the Hurricane Relief Show. I mean, you could not have cheated him out of that one. My goodness. I mean, what are you going to do? But I just don't know if they know what they're doing with the Death Riders. I just don't. Because then I'll ask the chat. I mean, do you guys have a feeling? The ones that watch AEW, do you have a feeling of what is really going on with the whole thing? Because I understand the whole Omega Will Ospreay. I understand what they're doing with the Hurt Business. I'm starting to understand a little more of the MJF now that the Hangman Page thing has worked its way through. I'm understanding the Trios title, a little bit more, but it's like, I just don't get the whole thing that they're doing. Death Riders.
And again, it's not only them. Like, keep in mind, you just ended a feud between Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron. Is Harley Cameron now going to happen the same thing that happened to Chris Statlander that we're not going to see
everybody that's first Mercedes we've talked about? What happened to him after they've lost to Mercedes?
Tony Storm is the new champion. Now what's going to happen with Mariah May? Is she going to be able to hold it down, or is she going to disappear as well? It's a lot of its and buts. And then not only that, even stuff outside of the wrestling world when it comes to the AEW. We were talking about it earlier on the Saturday Slam. Little things like, hey, them going ahead and not bringing in their ring, getting a smaller ring, and Buddy Matthews talking about it.
And you can't fault them on that, man.
Okay, well, I'll fault them on this: them running out of merch. You're going you're going to Australia and you sell out of all your merch, and that's one of your biggest money makers, your merch. Why wouldn't you're going to Australia, you're never there? Why wouldn't you double or triple up all your merch and say screw it, and whatever you don't sell, you just keep it in a backlog because people will eventually take it to the other shows that you're gonna go to. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, these are little simple things that this company just continues to just drop the ball on, and you're like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep who's your biggest enemy? Yourself. You're not doing nobody. WWE is not your enemy. WWE is not the reason why you don't have the fans, you don't have the views. It's yourself. You keep messing up yourself, and it hurts AEW, and it just it leaves you wondering like where's the structure with that company, man? Like it feels like a Mike McDaniel type of run team, unfortunately, with the
No, I mean,
AEW.
again, the merch thing is, I don't know if maybe they thought because of all of the talk, people weren't going to buy merch because of the booing, the upsetness about the refunds and what
That's another thing. The
the
refund.
whole thing is with, again, everybody thought they were getting a stadium show, and then they didn't get the stadium show, and then, oh man, damn it, hold on a minute, let me see if I can bring this up. I've got a comment from, oh man, hold on a minute, I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good. All those things while you're bringing the comment, just let me just cut me off once you go in.
Yeah.
Those are little dumb things that you keep thinking and you're like, man, why can't they get this right? Going ahead and taping it instead of going live. Come on. If you didn't want to do it live, you got Max. Do it live there. Like I probably would have tuned into Max. I probably would have purchased Max for that month just to see it live and you get another viewer on there. Things like that it just doesn't make any sense. Or then you know what? Do what NXT did, which is they put it before the basketball. It's just like it just makes no sense what type of direction they're going. It's just so sad, bro. Ricky Saints. Yeah, Detrapio. They changed his name. I'm so
All right.
disappointed at that crap.
So this was what Meltzer put on the radio on his show. This is a quote I took from when they were talking about the Grand Slam. He said, "This was the third biggest gate in the history of the company. I didn't get the final number, but they were at 1.3 million at least on Thursday, 2 days ahead of the show. I mean, for AEW, that's fantastic. In the end, the show was a big success. It was not a big enough success to be a stadium show, but that's a big ask. AEW is not a stadium product. It really isn't. Most wrestling companies aren't stadium products. Very few, if you think about it." Okay, so now, and I agree with him. I agree with him there.
I agree with him.
But here's the problem. In 2023, they did a $10 million gate at AEW All In a stadium show.
Not in the States.
This wasn't in the States either.
Correct.
So what's changed between in a year and a half? What's changed? Because that was August 27, 2023, AEW All In, $10 million gate. Then they were a stadium company. Now, a year and a half later, you're saying AEW is not a stadium product. It really isn't.
How much did they do? How many tickets did they sell the second AEW All In? The one that when they brought it back, because I know it was a lot less than the.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
The first one.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I got to go to my handy dandy calculator.
So I know they didn't do that. So it was already trending in the wrong direction as we speak because they weren't able to sell the same amount of tickets as the first one. Plus, let's keep it real. Probably when we look at that very first AEW show, that was the first time I was thinking they were going outside of the States. So it was a big deal. Number two, they had the Adam Cole thing, a both thing that was running wild. They were just people were invested on it. Where even Adam Cole was doing his Twitch streams, and MJF would run and comment and go into his Twitch streams and also get involved with the fans. So they were invested in that. They don't have a story like that right now. And then obviously the other thing was what was the other big thing? Because I knew they had the kangaroo kick, which was big at that time. They actually had the kangaroo shirt. I bought the kangaroo shirt actually. They had MJF fight twice, right? The main event was MJF versus Adam Cole in that AEW All In. I'm trying to think what was it. Oh, you had CM Punk. CM Punk was in that first All In where he went ahead and he fought against Samoa Joe. So you had the draw of CM Punk as well, and now he's gone. Uh, I guess the Darby Allen. I don't think that mattered.
So in 2023, it was 81,035. In 2024, it was 46,476.
Am I really freezing up?
Not anymore. You started coming back better. You were going
My
in and
bad.
out for a minute.
Might be
At least
my
you're not
internet.
freezing up to me on my end, so I don't know if my end
It didn't
is
look
the
like I
one
was
that's
freezing
there.
up.
But you're looking at that. So now in 2024, they still did 46,000.
Yeah, but notice that they didn't go back because they probably knew they were like, "Hey, this ain't going. This is trending in the wrong direction."
Yeah, but I just don't understand how everything just changed. Like, what changed though? That's my problem, or my question is, what changed where you're saying, oh, this is not a stadium product,
All right, so look, check
or
this
it
out.
was?
Check this out. This is one thing you gotta also look at. So back then they had obviously what I was telling you, the MJF, Adam Cole
Yeah, but
storyline.
that's on creative. That's not.
Okay, no, I get it.
Those guys are still there. CM Punk is the only one that's gone.
No. CM Punk is gone. They also had Sting and Darby Allin. Sting retired, so Sting is gone as well. You also had the House of Black, the whole three of them facing against the Acclaim. So Malachi Black is gone. You also had probably the
Malachi Black may make no difference on that card. Sorry.
Will Ospreay. You were just getting Will Ospreay into the AEW world. You weren't getting Will Ospreay now and continuously wrestling. Um, and he faced against Chris Jericho in that match. You also had to draw Saraya at her hometown trying to win a belt. And you had Britt Baker in there. You don't see Britt Baker anymore. Hikaru Shida was on that fight, and so was Tony Storm. But obviously, big fans wanted that. And then you had the Stadium Stampede. You had guys like Trent Beretta, not there. Penta, Cero Miedo, not there. Eddie Kingston, not there. Chuck Taylor, not there. Uh, Mike Santana, not there. Ortiz, not there. All those guys are gone, or at least they haven't. I don't know where they're at now. I think Trent Beretta still might be
But
with
that
AEW. But
goes back to what we were saying though, is they haven't built up the investment in anybody else then.
correct, yeah, that's true. That is true. The people that they brought in,
WWE loses people and this and that, and then they're not, they're not moving from. They extended to 2 nights on stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where, like, and then for Meltzer to say like, oh, well, they're not a stadium product, but they were a stadium product. So what has changed?
I think what he's I mean AEW, that's fantastic, and then the show was a big success. It was not a big enough success to be a stadium show, but that's a big ask. AEW is not a stadium product. It really isn't. I think what he's trying to say, maybe he could have said it a little bit better. Saying AEW is no longer a stadium product. It really isn't. That's what he should have said, because they were, but now they're not. And what has changed is what you just pointed out. Guys have left, and the people that they brought in they have not sold them to the crowd and to the fans to the point where people are invested in them and they want to go watch them. Nobody's invested on Mercedes Moné.
So
Like
in
we
the
thought we
in
would.
the in the 2024 All In lineup, it was. Hold on a minute. That was actually All Out. I apologize. The All In London. That was the one where Bryan Danielson won the title.
He's injured. He's out.
No, I'm saying, but that was 40,000 people less than the card you're talking about.
All right, so let me show you. I pulled it up here. All right, so here's the matches. We had Bryan Danielson, obviously going against Swerve Strickland, which Swerve Strickland at that time was a champion, so they had built a really good, foundation with him,
The
and people
Final
were sold.
Countdown.
They were sold on Swerve, and then they brought Bryan Danielson to do it. They had Jack Perry versus Darby Allin, and of course, remember Jack Perry had just come back from the whole. He was like like the evil dark Jack Perry, right? He had just come back from the whole
Yeah.
CM Punk situation, coming from New Japan and now
It
coming
was
back to
Scapegoat.
AEW. The Scapegoat. There you go. The Scapegoat. Perfect. That was the name of it. He had Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker. People would have wanted to see that because obviously that's a powerhouse type of match, even though it didn't live up to expectation. You had the rematch between Will Ospreay and MJF, which obviously you had seen the first match, so you were expecting a barn burner the second match. Then you had the 12-man Casino Gauntlet, which Christian Cage has won, which at this point in time, he still holds that stupid little clipboard and hasn't done not a single goddamn thing with it. So another thing that they've kind of dropped the ball. They had Hook versus Jericho. That was kind of a lame match. They had Mariah May versus Tony Storm, which wasn't bad. You had Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta defeat the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, all those guys. I guess it was like that group. What was another one? And then you had the zero pre-show and all that stuff. Those matches really didn't matter. They also had the tag team world championship match. It was a 3-way match. It was FTR, the Acclaim versus the Young Bucks. And remember, they were always selling FTR and the Young Bucks as like, hey, this is the greatest two tag team right now in the wrestling world going up against each other. And they just, they kind of spice it up by putting the Acclaim in there. So they had investment on each of those people right now. People were sold on them, but they just haven't been able to get it anymore. MJF's popularity has gone down. We don't.
They've allowed it to go down. I mean, they've done nothing with them. Man.
Jack Perry, a scapegoat.
Haven't
where
seen
is
him in a while.
nothing? Not a single damn thing. Bryan Danielson is hurt. Swerve Strickland has gone down, even though he's in the feud with Ricochet, but it has gone down. Darby Allin, he's injured and climbing Mount Rushmore.
Everest.
Mount Everest, my fault. And then we don't see Britt Baker anymore. She's out. Mercedes Moné is just winning everybody and carries like 15,000 titles on her now. That was the belt, the All-American Championship belt. That's the one that MJF had changed from Will Ospreay.
Yeah, that was the international title.
Correct. And then again, like you said, look, the Christian Cage one. He's won that crap in the clipboard. When is he gonna cash it in? Jesus.
All right. Well, I don't know, man. I just don't understand how you had momentum and then you just let it all get away, man.
Hey, Tony Khan, my friend. Tony Khan.
All right, Frankie Fresco. Let them know where they can see you, sir.
You guys are more than welcome to follow me at Frankie Fresco on YouTube. And then obviously on social media, you can follow me at Fresco Music on Instagram, X, Twitch, and on Facebook. And then obviously I have been speaking to my brother. And yes, we are in the process of bringing back Let Me Talk to You. Hopefully we're going to bring it back next month. What we're going to do, what we've decided to do is that instead of having a show weekly, we're going to go ahead and do a show every 2 weeks. So we will be announcing when we do our first show. And then obviously every 2 weeks, we'll have a show that allows both myself and my brother to kind of be flexible with our other daily stuff that we have to deal with. My brother's working a lot. He's dealing with a lot of things. And then I'm also working a lot. And obviously, we got the podcast, the wrestling podcast, and all that stuff. So it's a little bit challenging, guys. But I want to bring it back. We want to bring it back because a lot of people have asked us to bring it back. So we're gonna do that.
Beautifully said, my man. Beautifully said. You can check me out, Stanley Media House Network, right here on YouTube. Also on Facebook. Go like the page. You can check me out on X, Stanley Media _11, and of course, every Tuesday, which will be next Wednesday, we will be back. Well, I'll be back. I'm not sure if Frankie's got
I'll be back.
plans. So, okay, you'll be here.
Yeah,
Wednesday, I'll be back next Tuesday. I've got a soccer match, a football match to go to. The CONCACAF Champions Cup League. The Inter Miami CF versus Sporting KC. I will be there in Chase Stadium at this time, probably still trying to get out of traffic around this time. But appreciate everybody that's tuned in tonight. Mr. Fresco, I appreciate all your time that you give to me. And to us, the fans, thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. And again, shout out to the Miami Sharks. Hopefully, we can make a comeback next week on Sunday. Tune in, check it out. Go
Do the
to.
Sharks do fins up too, or no?
No, they do not. But they have a really cool mascot, Sharky. Sharky's a really cool mascot.
I saw him a couple times. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We had Sammy, Cheyenne. The Trapio was in. We had Josh. We had, hold on a minute. Cap for Life was in. Steven was in. Karoon was in. Man. A-Train was in. Rainy Day Podcast. Appreciate you guys. Straight Edge CM Dump. He got into it with, of course, the great, where is he at?
CM Dump.
Where's CM Dump go? Where'd he go?
He
I don't see him right now.
He probably went to go take a dump.
Yeah, we had Illiterate Grassland was on there with us. No doubt, of course. Appreciate you guys for all being in. My dad was in as well, and I know Stephen Harris was in at the beginning. Terry was in. Forgot. I saw EA Minutes was in for a little bit, in and out.
Yeah, EA Minutes was
as well. So, man, there he is. See him dump was in as well. So we appreciate each and every. Memo was in as well. Thank you. I just saw his name come through as I'm scrolling through, man. Appreciate all the chat. Again, this show was really to get a feel of where we are at as the state of pro wrestling as fans. Wilford Joseph was in as well, as he always is, with the AEW. And this show was just to have some fun and talk about everything that we see, right and wrong, and what we hope they can do better. Again, it is pro wrestling. Everything isn't black and white. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's the way you look at it. Frankie Fresco, any parting word?
Nah, man. Don't forget to hit the like, and don't forget to go ahead and share and subscribe.
There you go. Hit the share, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Frankie Fresco and Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. Hit them both. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. We will have Dynamite on tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens this weekend. Until then, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, oh God, there's CM Punk. So long from the sun. Shine